an opportunity that we can't pass on.
No mai, haere mai, welcome in to the New Zealand Secondary Schools Cross Country o mā tō whenua here at Trentham Memorial Park in Upper Hutt, Wellington, Te Whanganui Atara in beautiful New Zealand, Aotearoa. Conditions aren't beautiful, but we're about set for the first of six.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on the broadcast team again. My last race was Christchurch at Ascot.
Very important broadcast on the live stream of Whakata Māori. Kia ora, Heidi.
Kia ora koutou. E te iwi nau mai haere mai ki tēnei papa hōtanga a Whakata Māori. Ka mihi ki ngā maunga, ngā wai, me ngā ahika o te taha o au i te rōpū pānui i tēnei rā ko Mark, Rawa ko Sasha, nō reira tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Ngā mihi Heidi, and you can see the runners are prepared for the strong northwesterlies, could be up to gale force. Heidi, wind, rain in Te Reo?
Rain, ua, and wind is hau. So tūmatoinga is blowing for us today.
We have about 850 competitors here today across the 6 races from 147 schools. And Sasha, you will recall the nervousness, I would imagine, on the start line under these conditions, because usually a bit of a sprint start to try and find a position forwards.
Yep, you've got that big wide open start, and I remember standing there and you look to your left to go off the screen, and it's a big wide start, but then it narrows in, so you want to find the shortest line. But yeah, not go out too hard, but as you can see, they've taken off, and those top ones will be looking to kind of clear themselves out and form a little pack early and work together in this wind and rain.
The athletes at Kai Whakataitai are underway and into the first bend. Sasha, have you been able to have a decent look at this course? There is a water element in the circuit.
Yep, they definitely chuck you guys through the stream a couple of times, but that's good. That's real New Zealand course. You go, oh, you know, they'll be screaming around these bends, but the ground underfoot is a little wet, and so you kind of don't want to go, oh, I'm going to scream through this a bit too early and then come around the...
You've got other words to describe the course today?
Well, I think ahakoa te ua e hiki ana kei te reka tonu nā kai whai oma. So that's despite the rain falling, the runners are still enthusiastic and excited.
Oh, you bet they are, and the front runners looking to establish themselves now. Sasha, we've both got rather large start lists here to get through, but we have both asterisked a few runners. Who are you expecting to show out here potentially?
There's quite a few in this junior girls field, and
who are you expecting to show out here potentially?
There's quite a few in this junior girls field, and the big thing with like the junior race is that it's a lot about famous last name with that Ruth last name, but also there's, I think I can see, is that maybe Mia Thompson out of Scots College in Wellington, and some of the other names might be Sasha Mitchell out of St Margaret's out of Canterbury, the Canterbury champion. So we're just getting some bib numbers through there. So that does look like, I believe it is Sasha Mitchell, if I'm catching that last number correctly. But you want to work together as a pack when you start this race. You don't want to be kind of letting yourself string out too early, but you can see that is Sasha Mitchell out of St Margaret's College, leading through Daisy Ruth and Charlotte Ovenden of Havelock North High School. So those 3 runners with a little gap to fourth, but lots of running still left to go.
Sasha, given the wind today, is it important to tuck in, take a little cover? Definitely.
I would say that Daisy's playing it very smart right now, and you want to expend the least amount of energy for as long as possible until you feel like, hey, I can feel this runner in front of me is dying. Hey, this is my move. This is my time to kind of put the burner on and go, this is my race and I'm going to run away with it. So just playing it smart and going, I trust myself and I back my training, and we can see as they come through this big the start finish line after completing the 1K lap, but those top three have pulled away a little.
So 2 kilometres left to go, and it's the full 2 kilometre loop now. Heidi, you're a local teacher locally at Heretatonga College. How important do you think local knowledge will be for the local runners here?
I think local knowledge is really important on this course. The one thing that I think this course is good for is fast and flat.
We can see that we still have Mia and Daisy and Charlotte out the front there, and they're working together as a good pack of three, and they're going to come around this flat section and then hit the water again. And this might be where we start to see some moves, but if they all kind of stick together, then I personally, in my opinion, getting through this next flat section and then over the little rising hills at the back of this 2K loop, that separates those top three middle positions. But there is a strong chase pack behind, including, I think that may be Mia. Gosh, I'll check the last name, but we've got a competitor in fourth that is coming through, and if the pack can work together and kind of bridge that little gap, they've got a good shot at those medals aren't being decided yet.
What's the best time to attack? Is it up over the stop banks?
Ooh, personally, that would be where I'd make my move. Like, I'm not a big kicker. I don't have a great last 400 meters, so going from a little bit further out and going, hey, I'm going to outstrength them, I'm going to outwork them through the back half of that 2K loop would be my move. But if you reckon that you can just hang with them and outkick them with the finishing straight to go, by all means.
3 runners clearing out here, Heidi establishing a decent sort of advantage.
Yes, and they are looking good. Kia Tiri girls.
And good number of people on the course, locals out and about, and of course plenty of visitors from all around the country. We've got schools from Northland all the way down to Southland.
He rā whakahi tēnei mō ngā whānau. So this is a proud day for whānau out there.
Exactly. There's nothing like watching your parents run across the field while you're also racing and seeing if you're going to get there faster, if Dad's going to beat you to take a picture. But we can see that these top three, with a great drone shot, the top three of Mia, Daisy, and Charlotte have pulled away. And it looks like that is still Mia out front, but someone's making a move on the outside. I believe that might be Daisy turning that corner there in front of the school tents. And that is indeed Daisy Ruth and Charlotte Ovenden and Mia Thompson. So these 3 girls are doing a great job of working together as a pack and kind of spreading that lead around. And maybe this is Daisy's final move, or maybe she's got more around the back. So it's exciting to see how the race will play out. But we've got the rest of our top 10 coming through here.
And we get the opportunity to see the runners there, and obviously be looking out for those that you are supporting. And
that looks like Ellie Renwick coming through there of Mount Maunganui College. And they've just hit the steeple barrier, which is one of the hurdles in the 2K loop. And there is the option to go around, but we were doing a little bit of a course recce yesterday, and it adds like 5 or 6 seconds to go around. So just when you're in the heat of that race, just take the hurdle. Even if you put your hand down, it's going to be much faster than going around. And every second counts. Even in cross country, you don't want to waste time where you could be saving that energy and using it to make your moves later on.
Heidi, you're very familiar with steeplechase barriers from your career.
Absolutely. So the Māori word for hurdle for athletics is taepa. Taepa. So they're jumping over some taepa. And yeah, it does bring back some memories. Good ones, good memories.
Got a great,
Not
great
painful.
shot of this hurdle. See, exactly. You go over it, put your hand down, it doesn't matter, because that's the fastest way to get around this course. And, you know, generally the person with the fastest time wins.
Generally.
Daisy, of course, has had an outstanding track season just completed, but it doesn't necessarily always transfer to the cross country.
No, you get like a wide range of people, and you do get your track runners that come and they absolutely tear up the cross country course, but then you get those cross country specialists that's like, man, this is my bread and butter, like going out in the mud and the rain and kind of gritting it out and doing that strength aspect. So you can see they've split up that top pack of 3, and I believe that is Daisy and Mia there. Looks like Daisy leading out Mia, and then Charlotte back a little bit in third. And they've just gone over that first rise around the back of the 2K course. And this course is only going to get muddier. You can see on this broadcast with the patches of mud on that grass, but the more they chew this up, the harder it's going to be. So you got to take your lines, pick your lines.
In this particular part of the course, about 6 weeks ago was a car rally, mud, dig up the grass, fun time for some local Upper Hutt people. So it has recovered quite well, but it was fun to watch.
I bet it was. We get a wide shot of the course here with the drone as we come down towards the finish. Those top three established themselves and did pull away, and always difficult for that runner in fourth who was fairly lonely and isolated, Sasha, and probably hard to pick up ground when you're like that.
Yes, you got to work out, hey, is this the move that I have to go with, that I have to hurt for a little bit longer and stay attached, or hey, am I going to blow up if I go with this pack? And that comes from like years of experience and years of racing. And me personally, I know I've done a lot of go out hard and die. I like to call it the sit and fade, which a lot of my teammates back home will find very funny. But we still do have Daisy and Mia and Charlotte as they're coming down this last flat section before they hit the finish.
I think we've got Sasha Mitchell there as well. Is it 512?
Oh, that will be Sasha
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
So that's Sasha Mitchell. Just coming to the inside here of Daisy Ruth. And they've dropped off Charlotte Hawkes, Mia Thompson, also back behind them. And looking to make her move now and decisively towards the finish is Sasha Mitchell.
The Canterbury champ. She had a great race, and she's also done extremely well on the track. I know she's got a very fast 3,000 meter PR, so showing that class of athlete there, but hope this will be a good sprint between Sasha and Daisy. Gosh, apologies to the two girls.
Sasha Mitchell out of St. Margaret's College is going to kick all the way through the line here. As Sasha Letica mentioned, did win the Canterbury Championship very comfortably. Daisy Ruth's been among the leading contenders right throughout.
And that's Charlotte Ovenden out of Havelock North High School coming through for third. And also this looks like a Wellington College, a local girl. That looks like Isabel Thurston out of Wellington Girls College.
She runs for Olympic.
She was the Wellington champion, and she's run a good race in the Nationals today.
And now we have a lot of our top 10 coming in. That looks like Mackenzie Hetherington out of Otamotai College, one of Daisy Ruth's training partners. So awesome to see those girls get up there together. And you can see they've given it their all.
Totally. Charlotte Hawkes was top 5 too, I think. We'll pick up the results hopefully as we go, but you'll be watching for your whānau coming through. 5:04 about to finish Harriet Stretton.
That looks like Ella Blinko, 6:05 out of Takapuna Grammar School, and 6:07 also Indy Holland out of Takapuna Grammar. So good to see that these points will be counting for the team. There's their third member over the line for the Matthews. So that's another aspect of this race that we haven't mentioned, that there's a 3-person and 6-person teams results. So you see all these girls coming in here and you're going, oh, maybe I'm not in the top 10, maybe I'm not in the top 20, but you got to go, every person counts for these team scores. And that's something that them being in the States has taught me, and it's like you got to beat every last person that you possibly can. Even if you're falling over at the line, you know, that difference between 36th and 37th could be the difference between a team medal and just missing out. So it's great to see these girls going hard to the finish.
Po te ho. Exhausted, out of breath.
Definitely. And if you're not exhausted and you're not out of breath, then, you know, could you have run a little bit harder?
That's what my dad used to say. Shout out to Carl Humphreys.
Yeah, giving their all right through the line. Every placing counts, as Sasha mentioned, from the team's aspect. And of course, people excitedly looking up the final results to see if they might have made a top 20 or a top 50 or whatever their particular goal might be.
Exactly, and especially in like the junior races and the year 9 races, it's going, hey, like I've come up against this competition from around the country and I'm meeting these new people and I'm kind of matching myself outside of my region and going, okay, so next time I see this person, maybe I want to beat them. Maybe I want to be one place in front, or hey, they bet me at this race and I bet them at this race, and kind of working out who your competition is around the country and just getting that race experience, which is so important when you get to bigger races and the senior grades.
Come on. You can make it.
So close.
This is a cross-country classic, but hey, she's up and she's still going.
Too right.
And this is
Karawe.
one of the most impressive performances when you fall down, you get up and you go, hey,
Yep.
I'm giving 100% to the line, and that's what we love to see from an athlete.
Terrific effort to cross and complete the 3 kilometres. This is the junior girls' first of 6 races
You see
here
we've got
today.
some sprint finishes coming in. See, even this far back, you can see some members of the same team going, every place counts, which is all important.
Sprint, Heidi, Kokiri.
I. And Tere fast.
Ah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, Sasha, in my very limited cross-country experience, how much the finish line gives you that extra burst.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like seeing that big finish line barrier and going, oh, I feel like I'm about to pass out, I'm going to drop to the ground, but actually you've always got enough in you to cross the finish line and kind of make it count. And I know you finish and you're like, oh, I could have given a bit more on some days, but at the same time, you've given your best effort on the day, and that's what counts, which is a corny line to say, but I know that even if your performance, hey, maybe it isn't what you've hoped, or maybe the number or the time isn't what you've wanted, as long as you've given your best effort on the day, that's really what matters in the sport. And running is a sport that rewards effort and kind of digging in here like you see these 2 girls doing and sprinting to the line and going, hey, I'm proud of my performance no matter how it played out.
And you can see there too, 1 or 2 slipping there, a little bit awkward as they come around, even just that final bend there. So the conditions are a touch tricky, and obviously they've got wet feet too, having gone through
yes.
the creek.
Yes, and this is unfortunately for the later races, especially those senior boys that do 3 by the 2K loops, the conditions are only getting worse, which is great. That's part of real New Zealand cross country. And you know, the real question is like, what spike length are you using if you're using spikes, and what lines am I going to take through the mud, and how smart am I going to play this race? Because hey, you could be the fittest and the strongest athlete, but if you're not the smartest athlete on the day, the smarts goes a long way.
Heidi, finish line I've got is Rarangi Whakamotanga.
I.
You correct me if I'm wrong, and you correct my pronunciation too. Because you're the schoolmaster here today as well. Even at the weekend, you don't get a day off today.
That's true. But tēnā koutou katoa nā kai whakateite ki te kōrero ina. So congratulations to all the competitors in the junior girls.
Got a great drone shot there showing all the parents and the girls after the start line, and you can see through that start line and then the finish line, and they're still coming in. So well done to all these runners, and I know that, hey, you got to be proud of your performance no matter what. And we can see our top 3 on the screen now. So it was Sasha Mitchell, apologies for calling you me earlier in the broadcast, and then Daisy Ruth and then Charlotte Overden were your top 3.
So kua toa e Sasha e te whakateite.
Charlotte out of Havelock North in the Hawke's Bay. Isabel Thurston finished in 4th spot, local runner, local champ. Anna Phillips out of St Peter's School in Cambridge. Charlotte Hawkes, the Southland champion and Southland champion as well, ended up there finishing in 6th place ahead of Abigail Bethel out of Auckland Diocesan School for Girls. Mia Thompson, who had been prominent for a fair portion of the race, out of Scots College, locally in Te Whanganui, Tara 8, Mackenzie Hetherington in 9th, Otamatai College out of Tauranga in the Bay of Plenty, and Isla Dapis from Samuel Marsden Collegiate in Karori, another local, Te Whanganui, Tara in 10th spot.
You can see that top 50 of names rolling through there. So it's great to see all these girls competing, because yeah, in the junior races, it's really about just getting that race experience and being out there and being in it and kind of going, hey, this is what I want to do, and I want to keep working at it. And maybe it never comes in the early years, but then the hard work pays off later. So that's always good to see, you know, going out there, giving it your best shot. And I know personally, I never stood on the podium, and I never won a New Zealand Secondary Schools cross medal, but that's only made me kind of want to work harder and go, okay, well, I started there, and where can you end up?
You were in a very strong crop of runners. I've got to say, Bo Ritchie taking that title 2 years ago when you were last competing at a New Zealand secondary schools cross country.
Yeah, and it's fantastic to see just that level of competition in New Zealand, and then the ones that have gone on to do things in like other places too, like Bo. I've seen Bo stateside a couple times. She now runs for Penn State University. She's run some fantastic times and recently just signed an NIL deal with On, so congratulations to Bo. But it was always great to kind of line up and go, hey, we've got these like superstars here, like we've got these New Zealand U20 record holders, we've got these great like other competitors from around the country, and you know, you just got to go out there and give it your best shot. And I remember going out with Bo and Bo dropping me and being like, okay, so this is where the bar is at, and I got to work to get to that point. But it's great to see them kind of carrying on and doing great things.
Who else was in there with the Hellier twins?
There was Lisa and Sarah Hellier, and we also had Scarlett Robb. So Scarlett she could be competing at the senior girls, but she's actually in Eugene, Oregon, looking towards the World Under-20 Track and Field Championships. So she's kind of taken that step up to the next level and is foregoing her last year of cross to race at these track champs, which is fantastic to see. You know, you're chasing the opportunities that you're offered in the sport, and everything is finite, and you want to make the most of what you can when you can. So that was great. Also, Sienna Mackley was in that race, who was last year's champion out in Whangarei. So I believe she's here spectating. So former champion, knowing what's up. And I spoke to her yesterday on the course recce, and she said, oh yeah, this is going to be a great race to watch, all of these races.
So we've had the junior girls, the first of 6 races here at Trentham Memorial Park, and you can get a very good indication there as we see the sponsors' signs blowing in what's become quite a strong northerly here. The next race up is for Year 9s, and we don't closely follow the Year 9 races, so it gives us an opportunity to have a chat about some of the local history around here. We'll do that with Heidi very shortly, and also have a chat with Sasha Letica, who has come back from the States and recently set a national under-20 record for 5,000 metres. Just an opportunity, though, to acknowledge and thank our sponsors and supporters. A big thank you, of course, to Whakata Māori for providing the flat platform to share this event with whānau across Aotearoa, helping us to showcase our rangatahi and bring the action to audiences free of charge, accessible no matter where you are. We'd like to acknowledge and thank Te Taro Whiri i Te Reo Māori for their ongoing support and development with Te Reo Māori and strengthening its presence in events like this, the New Zealand Secondary Schools Cross Country. Oma tō whanua. A huge thank you too to sponsors, some of whom you saw there, Bailey's Real Estate, Caltex, Nativa, Apollo Projects, Anchor. Their sponsorship enables us to share this event with you and your whānau, and for backing the growth of sport and community initiatives across Aotearoa. So, ngā mihi, and thank you to all who have made this possible today, for me, Mark, and Sasha and Heidi to be here and bringing you this event. Junior Girls has been run, and next up, that was the Happy Hire Junior Girls. We've got the Just Cabins Year 9 girls coming up also over the 3 kilometres. Heidi Humphreys taking us through Te Reo today, helping us with pronunciation, learning. Always enjoy this aspect of the broadcast because it's something I'm very behind in. Heidi, you teach here locally at Hiratonga College.
I teach PE and health at Hiratonga College, and dabble in a bit of Te Reo Māori here and there. So yeah, this is it's fun.
We enjoy your dabbling.
Combining my love of running and Te Reo Māori, perfect.
Now, I was at Cook's Gardens earlier this year. I believe you were running the
Not
Mile
this
Masters
year.
there.
I think it was last year I did the Masters mile champs, yes.
Before your pickleball accident, because people can't see us, but unfortunately Heidi well, I was going to say touch hamstrung, but it's actually not the hamstrings that are the problem.
Yes, no, I went over while playing pickleball with the students at Hiratonga College and broke my leg and sprained both ankles, so a little bit broken at the moment. So hopefully I'll recover soon, and then I'll be able to get back to running around Trentham Memorial.
So tell us about Trentham Memorial Park and the local area.
this local area, Upper Hutt, is traditionally called O Rungomai, which means the place of Rungomai, so an ancestral deity connected to the people of Kuruhaupo Waka. And at Heretaunga College, one of our houses is O Rungomai. Also, if we look down near the water, Te Awa Kairangi is what it's known as today, but the Hutt River was known by Māori as Heretaunga back in the day as well. Early Māori occupied the Wellington region, and they were Ngāi Tara and Ngāti Era and Ngāti Kahungunu. But today the area is strongly connected with Te Atiawa, whose people migrated south from Taranaki during the 1820s and 30s. By the time European settlers arrived in the 1840s, Upper Hutt area lay within the rohe of Te Atiawa. But the area is also important historical associations with Ngāti Toa Rangatira and other iwis involved in migrations and conflicts throughout the lower North Island. Significant stream, Mawai Hakona, begins at Trentham Memorial, and it's still known by that name. Really interesting, before Europeans arrived, the river was the major transport route. Māori travelled by waka along the river, and they carried food and resources through the valley and established kainga and cultivation areas beside the waterways. Another significant area close to here is the Whakata Pā. That's a little brief history of the area.
That's great to learn. One of my favorite things about the New Zealand secondary schools, all their events actually, is just like traveling around New Zealand and getting to learn a little bit more about the culture and the history and kind of just the different places around my home country, because, you know, you can spend a lot of time where you live, but these races are such a great opportunity to see a new place, run somewhere different, you know, do your shakeout somewhere different, do your Sunday run somewhere different. And so it's me also as a spectator, it's great to go, oh, like maybe this is a course I would have loved, and it's great that these athletes get these opportunities to travel to some new places.
2 years ago it was Otatahi Christchurch. I think the year before you're in Palmerston North. We'll forget that one. You weren't well.
Gosh, we'll forget that one. That. No, we'll forget that one.
What about prior to that? Did you run Nelson? Or
I did run Nelson. Nelson was my first experience being in the big senior girls category. So as a little year 11, I was looking at that start list and I was like, oh gosh, we've got some fearsome competitors here. But it was great to just kind of get that experience, like I said, and go, this is what it's like, and hopefully I can rise to the occasion at these later races. And yeah, year 12, the less said about that, the better. But year 13, I was like, I've got one final shot. I really wanted to make that New Zealand secondary schools team that headed over to Australia. So I was like, this is a great opportunity. And the Ascot Park course in Otatahi Christchurch actually suited me. It was much faster and flatter, and the conditions were great. So I was pretty happy to have that as my last race. And 5th was fine. In hindsight, I'm like, gosh, I wish I'd done a little bit more, but you always wish for a little bit more, especially looking back at races that you've done previously.
And so it's quite important to point out, isn't it, that, like, for example, you had 3 shots at senior running, year 11, 12 and 13, and of course some of the juniors have just come out of the year 9 races last year. Others have already had a year's experience at junior level. Yeah,
and it's all about like putting it into perspective, really. Like, you can go, gosh, there are so many people that are faster than me. I feel a bit disheartened, but at the same time, you're going, hey, I'm showing up. I'm on the start line. I'm in this race. I'm putting myself against them and going, actually, I'm giving myself a fair shot. And yeah, there's, especially with the seniors, if you start there as a year 11, you get 3 shots at kind of working your way through the field and going, okay, so I saw them in year 11 and maybe they were year 13 and they're graduating out, and I'm coming back and I've got another shot, and then I've got one more shot. So I know a lot of the year 13s on the start line, they're friends of mine, and they're going, this is my last chance to win a New Zealand secondary schools title, which is nerve-wracking but also exciting. And it's really just like, I got to give myself the best chance, and you got to finish happy and going, no matter what the result is. Like, at least I gave it a shot. One of the ways that I approach races is always, I would rather have gone out hard and died and done a sit and fade than have just been there and done nothing. And it's much better to say, in my opinion, that you've tried something in a race and you've given it a shot and you've learned something, as opposed to, oh, I didn't really do much and that was that.
Well, I mean, to get here is an achievement in itself.
Oh,
right?
exactly.
And to represent your school.
Exactly.
And to be part of a team as well as an individual race. And we saw everybody there striving to get through the line, claim every placing that they possibly could.
Of course.
For individual satisfaction and, of course, for their team as well. It's coming up to 11 o'clock, so we're about 10 minutes away from the start of the Year 9 girls. That's set down for 10 after 11 over the 3 kilometres, which is the 1 kilometre loop followed by the full 2 kilometre, which introduces the steeplechase barrier, which I think, given where it is in the course, fatigue's well and truly set in. So it looks, when you're just watching, like this shouldn't be too much of a problem, but in actual fact, it probably is.
And for a lot of these year 9s, this is their first big cross-country race ever. This is their first kind of match-up with people around the country. And yeah, if you're staring down that steeple barrier, and this is your first steeple barrier in a cross-country, that's about halfway. So you've been through the water, you've been on the flat, maybe the leaders are stringing it out a little bit more, and you're like, once I get over this, I know that I've got this back section of the 2K, and then to just kick it home. But I won't lie, sometimes I look at that steeple barrier, and not being particularly tall myself, I'm like, gosh, I wish I could go under it, but obviously that's not how the game works. And you do want to go over it. Like I said, with that junior race, you lose precious time and energy going around it. So you just got to commit, and whether you put your hand down or not, that's up to you. And some of these girls might have already run a steeplechase on the track if that's something that they're interested in. So they might have a small bit of an advantage, but over 3K, the advantage kind of levels out, really.
Well, speaking of steeplechase experience, Heidi Humphreys does have that from the past. Heidi, I understand you've put some questions together for Sasha, some in Māori, and you can translate them for us as well. And for Sasha to talk about. I've got some questions stacked up for Sasha, which can probably wait for a little later.
Okay.
But what you've prepared, let's get into it.
Okay, let's give it a go. So, kia ora, Sasha.
Kia ora.
Nā wai koe I whaka tēnā kia tīmata te oma. So who inspired you to start running?
Definitely my dad. One of my core memories, if I'd call it that, is being introduced to the Athletics New Zealand rankings list and him showing me like where he was on that all-time list. So Jared Lideker, shout out to my dad and former coach. But just like hearing about the sport, and obviously, if you're naturally a little bit talented as a child, you're more inclined to keep going. But he told me about the place that he'd been and the times that he'd run and the experiences that he'd had and the people that he'd met. And I was like, yeah, this niche sport of running doesn't sound so bad, and I'm not half bad at it as a child, so I guess I'll keep going. But it was really inspiring to have someone that's been there in the sport and know what it's like to win, but also what it's like to lose, and tell me to, keep coming back and keep trying and keep training. So he's always been one of my big inspirations.
It's awesome when dads can be your role models. So
Exactly.
Isn't it? Thank you. So, ahia koe e tīmata ai ki te oma whakateitei. So what did you... Oh, sorry. correction. When did you start competitive running?
I was 10, and there was a big event in Auckland. It was the Trans-Tasman Challenge. I'm not sure that event exists any longer, but there would be a team of the Australian New South Wales junior athletes that would come over from their little athletics and compete with a mainly North Island team of New Zealanders. But I was 10, and I got my first little program written up on my Google Sheets with my kilometers and my distance and my runs, and I was like, yeah, this looks like fun, and going to my first big competition and giving it a try. So it's been, gosh, it'll be coming up like 10 or 11 years of running, which is over half my life, but hey, I keep still going and haven't looked back.
Nice.
Waiting on the medal ceremony for the first of our 6 races today. The junior girls taken out by the Canterbury champion Sasha Mitchell out of St Margaret's College over Daisy Ruth out of Tauranga and Charlotte Ovenden from Havelock in Hawke's Bay.
That's our New Zealand Secondary Schools president there, Tony Rogers, making sure we're all on time and that the broadcast is working, so shout out Tony. Oh, and now we can see our Year 9 girls who are all lined up. So the first big taste of big New Zealand competition, which is really exciting but also really nerve-wracking. And I know my Year 9 race didn't happen. It was cancelled in that COVID year of 2020. But my first experience at a New Zealand Secondary Schools cross was in the Mighty Hawara, which I'm sure a lot of you will remember that course, which was prime mud,
yes,
wind, rain, and just like pure grit is what I like to call it. And you hear the stories of, you know, we're running at the top of the cow paddock and the cows are at the bottom without a fence. But once you get through that, you can get through anything, especially these American courses on flat golf courses with manicured grass. And they're calling that hard. And I'm like, guys, we need to send you down under and you got to race in those farms.
Just a reminder, under the school sport charter, we won't be focusing on the Year 9. You will see some vision though as we go on and talk, and we will bring you the official result at the end of it all. Try and bring you the medal ceremonies when and where they happen as well. Know from past experience, Heidi actually corralling all the medalists together, particularly in and around the teams, can be quite a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I do remember receiving a gold medal 20, 30 years ago.
You didn't have to say that, but
yeah, okay. But still a proud moment. So Sasha, e hia nā rā i a wiki e whakanunu ana koe. So how many days a week do you train?
So what I've worked out is that the further you get up, you know, the less time off you have. But it's about like loving what you do and loving it. So I train 7 days a week actually, but I only run 6 days a week. And Monday I get blessed with a glorious hour on the elliptical. But I think that incorporating this part of cross training into my training schedule has really worked for me. So I'm going to keep doing that. And I've just finished my 2-week break after the end of my NCAA freshman season. So I'm getting back into my running and I'm doing a little bit of running around Lower Hutt now. But yeah, 6 out of 7 days a week is what's on the schedule for me. But you got to love it. And even if it's like, oh gosh, the weather's terrible, you still go out there and you do the work. And what matters is consistency over time. So just working with that principle.
Nice. E he pehia tō whakanunu mō nā whakateite nui. So what is your training like for major competitions?
It really depends. Like obviously cross country and then indoor track and then outdoor track, it's all different. But the big underlying principle of the training is just trusting it and trusting your coach and going, hey, maybe this doesn't feel right, but I got to have a chat to my coach and say, maybe we moderate this run, maybe we switch days, maybe we do something different. So just being a flexible athlete really is the most important principle of training. And one thing that I've like really come to learn is it's not all about those big standout sessions. It's about stringing together the weeks of training and the weeks of consistency, and then you're showing up at the start line of these competitions knowing that you've done the work and knowing that you can put it all together. And race day is just really an opportunity to go, hey, like this is what I've been working towards, not something to be scared of or stressed about.
Awesome. So, i aha tō tino whakatūtū kitanga I tō mahi oma. So what is the greatest achievement and your greatest achievement in running?
Gosh, I think I'm a classic Kiwi in that I don't like to toot my own horn, but I did set the New Zealand under 25,000 meter record about 2 months ago at Penn Relays over at Franklin Field in Philadelphia.
Ooh.
So I ran 15:48, which was a really big run, and I think the culmination of a lot of hard work and hard effort and just believing in myself that I could do it. But in terms of other big achievements, like, I guess it would just be like continuing to show up and continuing to kind of put in that effort. And we can see these year 9 girls on the start line, and starting somewhere and then seeing what running becomes is almost the greatest achievement in itself. Like, you keep showing up not only for yourself but your team. But yeah, I was pretty proud of that run. And then you look back and you always want a little bit more and to run a little bit faster, so it never stops.
Ka rawe e hoa. So next question, e aha nā wero nui kua pai ki a koe I tō mahi oma. So what major challenges have you faced in your running career?
One thing for me is that I've never had a running related injury, so there's been no stress fractures, no nothing like that, touch wood, because my coaches have always been very careful and very like, you know, you'd rather undercook yourself than overcook yourself and play it safe and just kind of moderate that. But one of my major challenges was also like iron deficiency and iron deficiency related anemia, and so kind of getting through that hard stage of going, gosh, I just feel tired and I just feel like I'm wonking in training and I just feel like it's not showing up on race day, and going, no, like, it's a long game and I'd rather, you know, take your supplements, make sure your nutrition and your recovery and your sleep is all on point, and just kind of building a toolbox of all the skills that you need to perform at a high athletic level at a young age, and getting through those challenges and going, hold on a minute, like, this isn't too bad. I know what I'm doing now when I'm faced with those same challenges yet again. So, I mean, last December I came off a big cross season, checked the ferritin level, it's dropped. I'm like, okay, well, we can't panic, we just gotta regroup, we just gotta get that red meat in and take those supplements again and kind of pull it all back together. So it's about working through them and not being like looking at them as a brick wall.
Here they go.
Underway there, Naikayama. The runners underway from the start point 3 kilometres ahead for the year 9s. Just a reminder that we don't focus on the year 9, but we will see some pictures for you and we'll be chatting over that and we'll look at the result at the end of it all. But they're on their way on this course, Huarahi, which I've got to say, actually, just a very small piece of blue sky above us, and the conditions actually between the races haven't been too bad. The wind is quite fierce, but the rain for now has stopped. The little crack of blue sky is closed and gone, but nonetheless, for the year 9 girls, not too bad.
They've got some pretty good conditions, almost ideal cross-country conditions, gosh, and I know the wind was predicted to be some howling gusts, but I'm looking outside and I'm going, this doesn't actually look too bad. And you'd rather it be a little cooler so you're not like overheating in these races. Not too cold though. I've raced in some pretty cold conditions and I had the old double gloves and long sleeve on, so coming back to New Zealand has been quite nice. But we can see a wide shot of all these year 9 girls coming through here in singlets and shorts, so it's not that bad.
They are tough.
Northerly conditions as opposed to the southerly, so it's a few degrees warmer than if we had a howling southerly here. And the year 9 girls are on their way, the 1 kilometre loop to start, and then they'll do the full 2 kilometre loop. If you didn't see the junior girls, it was taken out by Sasha Mitchell. They do run through the creek, there it is there, on cue, and Sasha Ledeker, I guess that's a point of the race where you've got to be careful of what's going on around you.
Yes, definitely, and you don't want to kind of overexert yourself through that creek. Obviously there's a little hill getting down into the creek and then back up out of it, and you want to kind of go through that obstacle with like as least energy expended as possible. But at the same time, you know, you're leaping in that creek and you want to watch your ankles, you want to watch your runners around you. But if you're not overthinking it, it's not that bad, and you don't want to be stressing yourself out over something that, hey, everyone else in this race is going to face the same conditions as you. You just want to get through it and focus on where it matters, which is after coming around this 1K loop, you get to the back of that 2K loop where some moves are made. But you can see all our runners working through this flat section here with plenty of supporters, and they'll hit the team tents where there's a lot more shouting and cheering, and even just getting that as an athlete and going, hey, I got people on my side, I can move through this field and kind of feel like I'm having a good run. That's what counts.
Extraordinary number of schools represented, Heidi, but obviously a real opportunity for the locals from Te Whanganui Tara and local districts even stretching across to Whanganui, Manawatu obviously.
Wairarapa?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So the Wairarapa College contingent here today. Ngātawa girls, diocesan girls are here today. Lots
Martin.
of Martin, that's right. Lots of representation. Sadly, no one from Heretaunga College, which is the closest school to here.
Next year.
Never mind, next year I'm working on it.
Yeah, good. I mean, it does take drive, obviously, within the school, and I know from my past experience, and there's no one here from my high school today, Kaiapoi, but we do have some pretty decent athletes having come through there. For you, Sasha, what, Takapuna Grammar, was it?
Takapuna Grammar High School.
Fairly well represented today.
We do, actually. We had a great number in the junior girls, and we have Asha Edwards, one of my training partners from back home, in the senior girls race. And I believe we have a couple boys in the junior and senior boys race. But man, back in the day, I used to race, and there'd be two of us, me and my friend Jody Nash, and we wouldn't have enough to form a 3-person, let alone a 6-person team. So it's great to see kind of the sport building in schools. And I mean, I guess you've got those traditional big powerhouses like a Westlake Boys School, High School, or a Wellington Girls College, or a Tauranga Boys. That's a big school known for their 3-person and 6-person teams. But it's just kind of getting involved, and with these Year 9 races, as you can see these Year 9 girls come around, this is really where it starts. And hey, maybe you finish this race in 50th and you go, actually, that wasn't too bad. Maybe next year, if it's a bit closer to home, I'll get some more mates to do it, and you kind of make it fun and not a stressful experience, which is obviously why we don't focus in on these Year 9 girls under the school sport charter.
And got a runaway leader there, and I guess at Year 9, if there is sort of a dominant force, it might show out more than in the higher grades, the juniors, and especially the seniors, where it's very competitive.
Definitely. By the time you get to the senior grade, you're like, oh gosh, these are just my friends from around the country. Like, I'd hang out with them after the race, and it'll be all like smiles and laughter. But at the same time, you got to run these Year 9 and junior races to kind of work through it and go, okay, like, I start to recognize these names. I start to know maybe a little bit of what their training's like and what type of an athlete they are. But definitely by the time you get to the senior races, it's like, I know my competitors and I know how they're going to race, and I got to either make my race plan the dominant race plan and take the race to them and say, hey, can you hang on? Or you go, okay, so I'm going to play it smart, and I know this person likes to kick, or I know this person can't kick, so I want to make it a kicker's race. But it all depends, and you gotta use your brain is something that my dad always drilled into me, where I would routinely execute bad race plans and he would be like, gosh, did you think? And I'd be like, no, not really at times. But once you're in the heat of the race, changes. Suddenly you forget everything except, I feel good. And you can always feel good a kilometre in, but
Absolutely.
You don't feel good 3 or 4 kilometres later, which is something you have to learn sometimes.
Some of us have learned the hard way. Yeah.
Oh, you definitely learn the hard way, and you do it again, and then hopefully not the 3rd time.
I'm old and I still do it.
And they've been through the creek for a 2nd time. Is there a Māori term for wet feet, Heidi, that springs to mind?
One moment, caller. I will have a look. Wet feet.
So off the back of the Year 9 girls, we'll be heading for the first boys race of the day. The junior boys, they're set down for 10 minutes to 12, and they're doing 4 kilometres, so it'll be 2 full 2-kilometre laps for them.
This is the junior boys, and the boys races in particular are some of the really good races, because you get those traditional big teams races, and I don't know, I'd never really thought about it coming from a school where we didn't have that 3-person and 6-person teams, but you want to win a team's medal, and to win a team's medal with the likes of like a Tauranga boys and a Westlake boys, it's a pretty prestigious honour, and definitely moving to the States and racing for those team championships and trying to have your team qualify for nationals, like, that's a big deal. And I didn't realise it just coming from a smaller school until I'm going, man, like, I got to beat this person, because what if they're point number 16 and I'm point number 17 and I blow it for my team? So it's racing for yourself, but also something bigger.
We saw some of the Year 9 girls there taking the steeplechase hurdle. It was probably quite tough for them, and they might, you say there is the option to go around, but it does cost you, 6 or 7 seconds, which obviously can be fairly crucial. By the same token, you don't want your shin to connect with that.
No, if you think you can take a 6 or 7 second penalty and you're pretty comfortable in it, then just go around. But at the same time, cross country is a lot about taking the tangents and taking the shortest line. And hey, if you don't have to run extra distance, don't make it a 3.3 kilometre race.
So wet feet, kua maku or koutou waiwai. So waiwai is your legs or your feet, and kua maku is wet. Yeah. So in a sentence, kua maku or koutou waiwai.
One of the big things involved with cross country and wet feet is the age-old question of, are you a sock person or not a sock person? Because this is something my father and I don't see eye to eye with. He's firmly on the no socks brigade, and I'm like, I refuse to race in no socks. You got to have the socks on, even if it's going to be minor dead weight on your ankle. I mean, socks always.
I did learn that the hard way. Wanganui, year 9, 1990 something. And I thought I had sequined my spikes, and they had red sequins. So I thought I would wear these big, not knee high, but fluffy leg warmer socks.
Oh gosh.
And there was a water jump.
That's different again.
Yeah, okay. I was.
It's a unique choice. I'll say that.
Yeah,
hey,
it was, but it was in the 90s. So
that mentality of, look good, feel good, run good. And I know within myself, it's like, man, if my number's pinned on wrong or my hair isn't done right, like, I'm gonna have a terrible race. Because once you're in that kind of locked in mindset of, I'm doing everything I can towards my goal, you race a lot better, even if it's just for peace of mind. So I know year 9 is like a great opportunity to kind of start building those habits and those routines around like your race day, and what do I eat for breakfast, and what do I do the night before, and how do I warm up. So just like kind of gathering that toolbook, like I said earlier, is so important with just getting involved in these younger age groups.
Interesting with the steeplechase having a water jump and running on the track. The lighter the spikes and the more water that can squish out the holes, the better, I say.
Definitely. Spike technology's come a long way. I remember seeing some of those old spikes that the likes of like a Murray Halberg wore. And
I'm not that old.
Definitely not.
Hey, but I remember.
And they've got that flat bottom, and you're like, gosh, this is just like cardboard strapped onto your foot. But the new developments in shoe technology have gone a long way in kind of producing these faster times, not only on the track, but over cross country. So there was World Cross that happened earlier this year in Tallahassee, Florida. So that was a big deal. And flick over to the broadcast now, we can see our first year 9 girls finished with that wide drone shot of the finish line. That's a great shot showing that finishing straight. So you can pick up quite a few places if you kick, which is always important about giving your best effort all the way to the end. So these girls doing a great job.
It's an opportunity for you to pick out those that you're following, your whānau, and to watch them come through the finish line here. If you're just joining the broadcast here on Whakaata Māori, under the School Sports Charter, we don't focus so much on the Year 9. We will bring you the results and winning names come through, but we'll wait for the results to officially come up to confirm that. But you'll be able to recognise your loved one coming through the finish line, and they're all finishing with a decent sprint too.
Exactly. You always want to leave something for the end, and then you, by contrast, you also want to finish feeling like you've given absolutely everything you've had. So good on these girls for giving their best effort here.
So this is the conclusion of the Year 9 girls.
That was a good
3
way of avoiding
kilometres.
the mud. She did a wide to avoid the mud. I like that.
And obviously you can see the timer there, and many still using watches and timers despite the official timing. Sasha, you one of
Gosh,
those?
I was always on a no watch when I raced. Cross country, I think I used watch for all of 2 races at the Spa Thermal Park in Taupo. I know some of the listeners on this might recognise that course, but I caught my heart rate up the first hill about a kilometre into a 5-kilometre race, and I was like, I don't think I ever want to wear a watch ever again racing. So it's
Off-putting,
all
that.
about like giving your best, and cross country is one of those things where time doesn't matter, and it differs from course to course, and you can run a really good time on one course, you flip back around the next week, the weather's terrible, people have run over it, and you run 2 minutes slower you could do, but you win. And cross country is about those placings and those wins and those kind of competitions and matching yourself up, as opposed to looking at the time. And it's cross country. You could be running 3.3 kilometers, or you could be running 2.8 kilometers if you pick your lines right. So
True.
you want to run the least distance, obviously.
I know if it isn't on Strava, then it didn't happen. So I'm a watch person.
I went Strava Ghost for a solid amount of time. You can't let your competitors know your next move, but
True.
racing manual upload goes a long way. You can see this wide shot of the drone shot on the right, and then the shot of the finish line as these girls keep coming through. So it's great to see just the number of competitors coming all the way down to Lower Hutt and giving it their best, because you just want to be in that race and be around like-minded people who also like running. So good on these athletes.
And of course we've talked about the team aspect of the running today as well, with 3 team and 6 team if you've got enough, obviously, and every placing counts in that regard. Also have the relays tomorrow as well, something that I think was developed about 2 years ago perhaps. This is the 52nd running of the New Zealand Secondary Schools cross country, Oma Te Whenua, but the relays introduced a decade or so ago, and they take place tomorrow.
Definitely, and that's either a great shot at redemption, say, hey, maybe you didn't have your best individual race, you go out there and you smack a 2K relay, or, I'm gonna call myself out here, but you never have a great 2K relay. And I like to think it's because I always gave my best on individual race day, or maybe it's just the come down after spending all that adrenaline the day before. But the 2K relay is just a great fun way to go, hey, I'm now competing for my region, so you've got your Waikato Bay of Plenty, you've got your North Harbour / Northland, you've got your Auckland, you've got your Wellington. It's a great way to put on your centre city and kind of get a good run. So you get another shot, is what I'm saying.
It's a good finish between 2 competitors, finishing alongside each other from the same school. And Sasha, given that some of these runners are backing up tomorrow, that makes the warm down probably quite important.
Oh yes, you got to make sure you're doing all the right things after your race, which is, hey, sometimes you got to learn that the hard way sometimes, in terms of you race the next day and you're like, oh man, maybe I didn't eat enough, maybe I didn't drink enough water or electrolytes, or maybe I didn't kind of shut it down and do my cool down and kind of get warm and dry as soon as I could. So you want to be getting over that finish line and talking to your friends and your family, and kind of having a good chat, because hey, you've just done a great job, but then getting that cool down in, getting warm clothes, getting dry, definitely getting something to eat first and foremost, and then getting some water and some electrolytes in, and kind of making sure you're doing all you can to recover, because that's the way you kind of grow and improve. And I know, there was one year where I spent a solid 3 hours after the race crisscrossing around watching other people, and then you show up to that 2K relay and it's like, gosh, I feel like I'm moving at the speed of a snail. But you learn, you live and you learn.
And Heidi, bit of light rains come back just to greet those finishing there.
Yeah, kei te kaha te ua e Nainei. So right now it's raining hard.
Classic Wellington weather coming through. It's not as windy as you would expect, but you know, the
Give it
athletes
time.
have got to roll with the conditions. But then
Tawhiri
again,
Matia, he
the
likes
conditions
Wellington.
are the same for every athlete. So you kind of, in my eyes, you can't use that as an excuse because, hey, you're all on the same start line and you're all crossing the same finish line. So if you want to cross it first, you know, just got to thug it out.
You can see how much gloomier the picture is there, the finish line now. Mighty word for gloomy?
Oh, one moment, caller. I will have a look. Gloomy, I'm not sure about.
And those sponsors of flags waving. Of course, this is being live streamed on Whakata Māori. We're grateful
Matapodi?
for that
Matapodi?
platform.
Gloomy? Matapodi.
Matapodi.
Mm-hmm.
2 races down of our 6.
Kauri, that's not right.
That's okay, we're here to learn.
Exactly. You live and you learn.
Oh, no, these are all... the problem with going straight to the Māori dictionary, if you don't know Kupu Māori, is that you have to read the fine print. You can't just go to the first word and say, oh yeah, that's it. Because it could be talking about a person being gloomy, or it could be talking about the environment. So you really have to know the context. So I'll keep you posted when I find it.
No, I have experienced that many a time myself, making a mistake by just being a bit too hasty in trying to find out a correct word in Te Reo, and can embarrass yourself quite badly, but that's what we're here to do, as I say, to learn, and we're
Kia
grateful to
kaha.
have you here today.
Kia kaha, kia toa, kia manoa nui. And trying is awesome.
And the result we have up, and Sasha was Lucia Harford, who is local from Queen Margaret College in Te Whanganui-a-Tara, who led for the majority of that race and a dominant win.
Yeah, she really took that race by the horns and went, nope, this is my race. And I think that, yes, being from Te Whanganui-a-Tara, Wellington, will be of benefit because, you know, you just get used to the course. And I bet Lucia's done a lot of her training around here recently and kind of knows the in and out, so that goes a long way. But again, with those Year 9s, it's really just being here and having that experience. And we can see that the other top two, Mila Moore out of St. Peter's School in Cambridge and Sophie Reed out of Aquinas College in Waikato Bay of Plenty, they were quite close in that time, so that could have been a sprint finish.
Yeah,
and fourth there was Isabella Snedden out of Marist College in Auckland, and fifth was Olivia Stone out of Botany Downs Secondary in Counties Manukau. So good work to that top 5 and all those other Year 9 girls part of this race.
He aha kupu Māori for gloomy is taupuru. Overcast gloomy.
And there's 20 minutes until the next race, which will be the junior boys. It'll be over 4 kilometres, so 2 of the 2 kilometre loops, and we'll have a look through the field shortly to see if we can identify some that we expect to be prominent, but they're in that Year 9 girls. Terrific to see all the effort going in for people's first experience of the national cross country secondary schools level. Sasha, I did have some questions here. You've covered off a few of them there with Heidi earlier, but just looking back to your experience in the United States, and I'm not sure exactly about your voice prior to going there, but am I sensing a twang?
Oh gosh.
Am I sensing an accent?
I've just looked down at my phone and I've had several messages from several people going, why do you sound so American? And I feel like when you get me to start speaking in that English, I default to an American accent out of sheer nervousness or something like that. But the aim was not to lose my Kiwi accent, so I don't know if I'm achieving that aim or not. But when you're constantly surrounded by Americans, it's kind of hard not to sound American. But definitely you get the, oh, can you say fish and chips?
Yeah.
Can you say 7? And
What
I'm
number
like,
comes after 6?
7. And you say eggs instead of eggs, or however they say it, gosh. But no, there are definitely a lot of Kiwis over there, so hopefully I don't sound too American. So sorry to James and Ian and Elliot and whoever's messaging me going, gosh, you sound like terrible.
The great thing is some viewers and they're listening carefully, and it's probably just because you're sitting next to a very Pākehā sounding fellow.
It's a good reminder of home. But no, it is great being in the States, and kind of you go to these meets and you'll be like walking along the track and you'll be like, gosh, I think I hear someone around the corner, and I think I hear a New Zealand accent, and you turn the corner, it's like, gosh, like I thought I left you behind in like Auckland or like Wellington or something, but nope, they're here. And that's one of the good things about just that New Zealand running community, is that you go over and it's such a small community that you do make friends and you do have like support and people that you can kind of hang out with at these big meets. So it's great to see like all these other New Zealanders and even, you know, some Australians over there too, and it's like a little oceanic community down there, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic to get the weekly updates from Murray McKinnon on the New Zealand Athletics website, and the extraordinary number of people who are competing in all manner of parts of the world, but particularly those on scholarships in the US, and then to have the extraordinary experience going back a couple of seasons to have Maya Ramsden lead home Kimberly May in a 1-2 at the NCAA is just extraordinary.
Yeah, like to watch that and to sit at home and kind of be like, oh, like I hope I can be in the NCAA and at some point in time competing at that nationals level. It's such a big inspiration. It really put New Zealand on the map and going, hey, that's not just like one Kiwi, but that's two Kiwis. And they're beating everyone else, you know, they're first and second. And last weekend it was the NCAA National Track and Field Championships out in Eugene, Oregon, and we had a bunch of Kiwis competing at all number of events. And just off the top of my head, I know that, you know, Hannah Gapes out of John Paul College in Rotorua, who won this event, and Hawera, she was there in the women's 5,000, and Will Anthony out of, I believe he's a Wellington boy, a Wellington local.
Yeah.
He's over there at the UVA, at the University of Virginia, and he was in that 10,000. And then speaking of other runners in this field, I know Eleanor Pugh, her older brother Elliot Pugh, a very good friend of mine out of Bethlehem College. He's currently competing for Providence, and he made it from I think it was 112th all the way to nationals. So he had a great run, a great season, and just seeing those New Zealanders like getting there and making the most of the opportunities, that was like fantastic to see.
Speaking of opportunities, I believe you went to Kenya for the World Schools Cross Country Championship. That must have been an extraordinary experience.
I did. It was my first experience putting on the black singlet, not the real Athletics New Zealand black singlet, but still a New Zealand singlet nonetheless, and it was led by Tony Rogers. So we actually went over to Nairobi in South Africa. Sorry, we went to Potchefstroom in South Africa for a little mini training camp. So that's the likes of, you know, like a Niels Laros or a Keely Hodgkinson. They head out to Potch and do some training, so it was great to experience that. And then we flew up to Nairobi and competed at very high altitude against all these like traditional running nations like Kenya and Uganda and Ethiopia. And I mean, us Kiwis got our, like, we were well and truly smoked, but it was just such a great experience to go, hey, like, this is international competition, like this is what it's like, and you got to rise to the occasion. And yes, it was just such a great experience, and I don't even remember what place I came or what time I ran, but learning like this is what international level is like. It goes a long way.
And Heidi was talking to you about that under 25,000 metre record that you set in Philadelphia. Did you feel like that was coming, or was that a bit of a surprise?
Yes, which is kind of strange to say and not arrogant to say, but I feel like all my training had been leading up to that, and I knew that I was in shape to run something decent, and my aim was to qualify for the NCAA East Regionals first round. So that's the top 48 in the East go to like another meet 2 weeks later after conference, and to kind of run that, you had to run around that 16 minutes for a 5K. So actually shout out to Kate Curry, who was the 48th person in. She ran 16 flat, so that's an awesome run by Kate, and we used to, you know, do battle here in New Zealand, so it's great to see her over there. But I knew that I had to kind of put together a big time, and I sat down and talked with my coaches, and we were like, hey, you know, maybe that 15:55 pace is not so unreasonable. I feel like I've been training for that. And then I kind of got on that race, and I was like clicking through the laps, and my coach was shouting out, you know, 75 something, 75.6, 75 flat, 75.3, and I was like, gosh, like I'm on for something not that bad here. And we rolled through that 3K at like 9:29, and I was like, oh, like this is going good. Gosh, and I was not surprised, but actually just kind of pleasantly within myself going, hey, like I got this. And so I feel like it was a culmination of a lot of hard work and a lot of patience and kind of making sure that I didn't give up when a race didn't go as planned. And I mean, the end of my season, I didn't run as well as I wanted to at regionals, but that's racing, and you come back, and I've got 3 or 4 more years in the NCAA to give it more shots. So yeah, it was kind of something that I was like quietly proud of, knowing that I had it within myself.
How does the rest of your 2026 look?
I've just finished my 2-week break, so I'm back into training. So finishing my first 50-mile week this week, and then kind of going up from there. And then I actually have 3.5 50 miles, apologies, that's around 80 kilometers, I think, for the New Zealand listeners.
Yes.
But then I have 3.5 months to my first race, so I'm opening at the Princeton Classic in New Jersey. So shout out to James McClay, one of our Southland runners from Invercargill. He's currently attending Princeton, so it'll be great to catch up there. And so that's the first race for the kind of cross-country season for me, but sophomore year is the second shot at going a little bit further, and I know my team and I would like to punch our ticket to Nationals, which is in Terre Haute, Indiana. So we'll see how that goes, but we'll kind of move through the cross-country season.
It's Sasha Litica that you're listening to. If you've just joined us now, the New Zealand under-20 record holder for 5,000 metres set back in April, just a few months ago. Heidi Humphreys with us as well. Heidi, perhaps in Te Reo, how would you describe the day so far? Is it?
Let me think about that one.
Yeah. It's gaps between the races, obviously time required for everybody to get through. Important to point out too that we do have the para athletes today as well. We've got the junior boys event coming up very shortly, and the para boys will go with them. And looking down, there's representatives there from Cullinan College out of Whanganui, Onslow College in Wellington, Papanui High School, who are usually prominent in the para section. A good number of Papanui High, in fact, and also one out of Wairarapa College too. So the para boys go over the 2 kilometres, with the junior boys race starting at 10 minutes to 12. The junior boys, of course, going 4 kilometres, the 2 kilometre lap twice. And we also have the para girls running a little later, not quite so many of them, but they'll go with the senior girls racing, which goes at 10 past 1.
And yeah, with this junior boys race, they do 2 by the 2K loop, which has things play out a little differently. Obviously, you go over that steeple barrier twice now, and you go through that water. What is it, like 1, 2, 3, 4 times? And so you get that kind of back section of that 2K course, which is a little bit muddier than that 1K loop. So the races might play out a little differently, or you might have someone that's like, hey, this is my race and I'm gonna win it from the front. So it all depends, but you can just see a shot of the start line now, and you got boys finishing their final warm-ups, and the aim is to keep your jacket and track pants on for as long as possible. You don't want to be out in the cold any longer than you have to be. And one year I was particularly pussy, and I wore gloves and I wore a long sleeve, which is like, okay, it's probably don't need gloves, but hey, I was really cold that year, so you can see, a bunch of boys in singlets and t-shirts, so good on you guys.
And you see too that there's actually like lanes there. They're wide lanes, but everyone's assembled into a lane, and I guess the schools push who they perceive to be their better runners forward.
Yeah, you kind of like split that up so you can see on the right side of your screen you've got just like boys in the green, and white, and then right next to them is also Wellington boys, Wellington College there, so they've got two good teams with like long histories of team challenges, and you kind of want to put your, not necessarily your top three, but you know that the guys that can get off the start line as fast as possible. So maybe you've got an 800-meter runner in there, and he's running it for the team, and you know, hey, he can get off the start line when that gun goes and kind of clear out and make space. So you want to think a little smart here, and not go, okay, like I'm just going to put anyone and everyone on that front line, but definitely coming from a school where we didn't have as many individuals, we could all line up on the start, and it was great to just get clear viewing of, hey, I want to point my nose at that first corner and not run any extra distance, any unnecessary time.
Ka hoki mai e tahi maharatanga, kei te kite au i te hangarite oma e moihotia ana no Fairfield College. So I was just saying, it brings back a lot of memories, fond memories, being here and looking for familiar singlets that you know. Yeah.
And that's definitely what was one of my favourite things about racing is like, oh, I recognise that school in their singlet, and I recognise that person. And the good thing with like kind of knowing your competitors, definitely as you go through the grades, like I said earlier, by the time you get to seniors, you're like, oh, I recognise that singlet, and I recognise that person, and if I can see them ahead of me, and I can chase them down, and I can kind of use them as a marker, then they're a great person to key off within a race. So a lot of these boys would be like learning their competitors and learning what their strengths are, but also you see some big teams, and definitely don't underestimate the power of like good team tactics. It's something that you often see on the world stage with like the Kenyans and the Ugandans and Ethiopians, and really kind of working together as a team. So, you know, rotating that lead and kind of working together and building that energy within your pack goes a long way, and that's always something to think about when you're, you know, sitting in that no man's land. It's like, hey, if I can close this gap and I can get to these next little group of runners in front of me, I'm going to save so much more energy than just kind of battling it out solo.
He mea nui te whaia wahi atu ehara I te mea ko te tau aniki. So while participation is important, not just winning. No.
Exactly, it's like the classic, you know, you can only have one winner. And more often than not, you leave disappointed and going, gosh, I wish I could have been a place higher or a couple places higher. But as long as you've given your best effort, and you know, you're like face down on the mud after the start line, or you're going, that was what I had on the day, like that's really what matters. And you know, sometimes you can win and you can go, gosh, I feel like I didn't win right, which is a crazy statement to think, but at the same time, you know, running is one of those sports where you're like never satisfied. You always got to be chasing something else, but also like respecting where you are at any moment. I think it is there.
So Sasha, about 5 minutes away from start time here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm counting pages here, 6, 7 pages of athletes here for the junior boys over 4 kilometres. I know we've been through and asterisked a few individually, so anyone you think we could be looking out for here?
Definitely, I know that there are a few local boys from Westlake Boys who some of the top runners in Auckland, that Hugh Robinson, Charlie Page and Liam Crooks, who were 2, 3 and 5 at the Auckland secondary schools from Westlake Boys, looking to win that 3-person teams title too. But also I've got here Rory Davies from Auckland Grammar School. Auckland Grammar also got a long history of running, as we'll see in the senior boys races, and thinking back to some boys past, like, you know, Caleb Wagner, it's a notable name, smashed the course at Whangarei last year and had a commanding win there and is now doing great things. So shout out Caleb for your big triathlon win earlier in Kitzbühel.
He's an extraordinary athlete.
He's a fantastic athlete, friend of mine, so well done. And Jamie Mora, another name, also in the States, currently at Missouri, so I know his younger brother Ethan will be in the senior boys race. But speaking back to this junior boys race, also out of Waikato, there's Antonio Basile, Finn Artner and Edward Hood are some names that we can be looking out for. I actually went down to watch that Maunga Tautara race, I believe. And that was a tough course. So if you can conquer that course down in the Waikato Champs, you can definitely take on this one. But also out of Wellington, you've got Jacob Williams, Matthew Meiklejohn, and Oliver Healy. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that may be the younger brother of another athlete that I know well, Poppy Healy, who is currently on scholarship at Butler University. So a friend of mine there. I'm recognizing a lot of these last names. Out of Canterbury, that was some names to pick up just from their regional champs was Callum Harris, Ben Crawford, and Lockie Stickman. And also there's the teams race to think about too, as we kind of pan across the start line. You see some loads of boys prepared, looking ready to roll. I can see our Takapuna Grammar School athlete there. Shout out to my high school. So good to see some representation from these schools that you might not necessarily pick as big cross-country schools, but they're still out there, they're still travelled, and they're still giving it their best shot. So good work, boys.
Looking forward to seeing Caleb Dobia out of Kings High in Dunedin. He's the Otago Championship winner. He won that by a big margin. Also won the South Island secondary schools as well. And local from Hutt Valley High, Jacob Williams, who impressed in the Wellington Championship. And I think Jacob ran second last year. So he's a decent chance here as well. And he's the 3,000 metre champion over at the under 20 level. There's Jacob Williams. Hunter Flowers out of the deep south, Southland boys, finished second to Caleb Dobia and was 17th last year, one of the returnees in this particular section of the junior boys.
And the thing with the juniors is that you get an interesting little age group where it falls through, and you can either... There's a little thing with the junior boys age group where, if you've got like a January, February, or March birthday, you can be year 11 and still running in this junior category. So you could be, a solid 2 years older than some of these boys in this race. So it's all about just going, okay, I gotta play it safe, gotta play careful, but at the same time being realistic, and that everyone's at like a different age and stage in this race. As you can see them stepping up to the start line and getting ready to roll, and feet behind the line boys, which is always a classic. And you have the great marshals and officials doing a great job here today, kind of laying it out, and excellently laid out course too. So no one's going off course, no one's missing a turn, no one's doing anything like that. So
nā mihi nui kia kai tua o nā kaiako me nā whānau kua tautoko I tēnei kaupapa. And to the athletes, whakapaua, tō kaha, kia manoa nui, kia toa.
Junior boys, 4 kilometres, sponsored by Happy Hire.
Also, our para athletes are in there as well, so good luck.
Yes,
Kia tere.
We've just heard that gun go off, and you can see, and it usually is in some of these boys races where they just go out like a freight train. And a couple of years back there was some boys that I know that had a bet, and it was whoever's leading at the 100 metre mark, you get $50. So it was great to watch them go out and just absolutely smack it for what was probably like a 12-second 100 metres. If you wanted to do that in cross country, you can. But at the same time, it is about, getting to that corner and picking your lines, so we can see that the field is already fairly strung out, as there's a number of boys on the start line, and you don't want to be caught behind someone and kind of going into that little water section, which comes up on you quickly, and going, uh-oh, I've got like bodies to roll around.
This is race 3, and the weather has packed up somewhat, with the wind picking up and the rain coming sideways now for the junior boys and for the para boys. As Heidi pointed out, the para boys are in here. They're doing the 1-2 kilometre loop, and the junior boys doing that twice.
Quite a big representation from Onslow College, where I taught for a couple of years. So awesome to see a lot of the para athletes coming from there.
Just over some small humps there, and then into the water, which it's got particularly muddy leading into that, so runners have to be careful there. and a really good crowd now lining the course.
It's fantastic to see all these supporters, albeit looking much warmer than the athletes, but there's nothing like coming out of that stream and going, oh, I can hear mum, or I can hear dad, or I can hear my mates that are in another race like cheering me on. And the thing with these boys going through this second water crossing is that you still have so long to go within this race that you don't want to kind of overthink this part. You want to go, okay, I'll just get through it, and then I'll keep rolling. And my mind's already on like the kind of next obstacle, which is that nice flat section you can see on the split screen coverage as they're kind of working their way through there. So hey, if you didn't have the best possible start, now's a great time to kind of move through and around some people and kind of work together. So you can see those little packs and clusters forming, but the leading runners have well cleared out, so we can see in this drone shot, and kind of looking to just move away really.
And nā mihi kia kai tautoko me te whānau in these conditions. Not nice to be out there, but glad that you're giving tautoko to your significant athletes.
Jacob Williams, one of our early favourites, beautiful hurdle there by Jacob. Out of Hutt Valley High School, made that look quite easy, didn't even put a foot down, so kudos to you. And that looked like a Westlake boy, and I think I'm going to call it now without looking at his little bib number, but I would believe that would be Hugh Robinson, who was second in that Auckland race, but first in that race is a senior boy now, so you got to move up to the big leagues. It did look like Hugh over there as we see all these boys coming over these hurdles, and they've got some great hurdling, so kudos to you boys, because there's no hands down, there's full clearance, and you can see that some of them are opting to go around, but personal preference, go over it, be brave.
There might be more hands down second time around. I guess we'll get to see that.
Definitely. There have been some great hurdle photos that I've seen when we've done courses like this, and there's 2x2K. Palmerston North was a classic, my year 12 race. That second time around, I put both hands on the hurdle and sat on it, and it was not my finest moment, but I did it, and you kind of get through it, and then you learn for the next year. You go, hey, I got to actually jump a few fences before I get to this race.
That shot of the leaders we saw earlier too. Matthew Meiklejohn was prominent, another local. He's in fact just down the road, St Patrick's College Silver Stream, and he chased Jacob Williams home in the Wellington Championship. So first and second in the Wellington Cross Country Championship, prominent in the New Zealand secondary schools through the early stages.
So you really think, there is that home course advantage. Like, I know these boys would have been just training around here and doing fartlek around here and doing reps around here and going, I know this blindfolded like the back of my hand, which is always a great way to feel coming into race day. You're like, that internal level of confidence that you can have is like unmatched. No matter how many times, your coach or your parents or your best mate tells you that you're going to have a great race, if you feel like you're going to have a great race, then that's all that matters on the day. And you can see, I believe that is our leader, Jacob Williams, there out of Hutt Valley High School. If I'm going to call this now from a drone shot, he's well cleared out, and he's really just making the race his own, which is, hey, a great tactic if you're fit and ready to go.
Ran second last year, so he's very keen to go one better today, and laying down the gauntlet to the others who, of course, are running comfortably enough behind him at this stage.
And it is right with Hugh Robinson out of Westlake Boys just sitting there. A long tradition of great, not just good, great cross-country runners coming out of that Westlake Boys High School. Names of, Toby Saxby, Alfie Steedman, Ben Roscoe, great names that have come through there. So well done to Westlake Boys for a great program there.
He tere, he whakahihiko, hoki tēnei ara oma. So this course is fast and exciting. And it always is. Dawn Cup was last week for the Wellington Club athletes. Sadly, I wasn't running. But I know that everyone had a great time in the water jump.
Yeah, you can see all the big pack of boys come through now on that left-hand side of the screen compared to that drone shot as they come around this first lap. And this is where you want to be feeling still pretty good in this race. Like, you know if you've gone out too hard and kind of blown the gaskets off the first 2K. So looks like Jacob Williams, beautiful technique, just breezing through there. So he's got another 2K to go, but really kind of resetting your mind and going, okay, so I've done one lap. Now I've got one lap to go, and kind of where are the spots where I can move and make some like passing moves and kind of distribute that energy and not kind of overthink it. You can't think about what you've already run. You just got to think about what's ahead of you. So, smart.
And as you say, he will know this very, very well and have a pretty good indication of what he can manage from here, setting the terms in front. Jacob Williams.
Yeah, and if you're the type of athlete that, you kind of thrive on just being out there and being solo and doing the hard work, then that's a perfect tactic for you. Like, if you're someone that knows, I want to kick and I want to kind of leave it to the last little bit, now you're faced with do I go with him or do I kind of hold back and know that I'm going to reel him in within the last kilometre, last 600 metres? But Jacob Williams now with a sizable lead through to second, which I believe is still Hugh Robinson out of Westlake Boys High School, as we see a great drone shot of these runners coming through here.
Matthew Meiklejohn third in the light blue there of St. Patrick's Silver Stream. I think another of their runners is back in 5th spot. So, of course, he's thinking about the teams as well, the 3-person and 6-person teams, which many of these runners are running for.
Definitely, and apologies if we don't pick up your child's name or your friend's name on the broadcast immediately, but we're doing our best with bib numbers and a long list of start lists and numbers and names, so we're trying to get that as fast as we can. But we do know that this is Jacob Williams out of Hutt Valley High School, who's really made the race his own and is about to hit that stream for the last time, so hopefully just absorb that. Not perfect through the water, and you keep rolling on that flat and kind of don't let it disrupt your rhythm. So great work, Jacob, and get the drone shot of that 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. So your top 5 coming through here now.
Robinson 2nd, Meiklejohn 3rd. Just try and pick up the athlete in 4th spot shortly, just going through the water now.
And now you want to be like full of running on this flat section. You want to know, hey, I've just got to kind of get through this flat bit. There's a few little rolling, little dipper hills around the back of that 2K loop. But once you kind of come down the end of that last hill, you've got a straight sprint finish and you have the finish line like banner in your sights and you're going, I just got to kick it from here and there's nothing that's going to kind of slow me down, which is obviously a lot easier said than done. But at the same time, you always have something in you for the end of a race.
And that reminds me of a really good whakatauki for right now. Mā te huru, ka rere te manu. So literal translation, adorn the bird with feathers so it can fly. But what it actually means is with the right preparation and support, success follows. So these guys have been putting in the effort and the success is following.
Great hurdle from Jacob there, and Hugh coming through there in 2nd, so holding very strong. And excellent runners out of Westlake Boys. Quincy Cutts, another notable name. Max Tuttle, some of the guys from way back when. And that does look like Matthew Meiklejohn through there in 3rd. And we're just trying to ID this athlete coming through in 4th. See if we can catch a singlet, not sure. But still great hurdle form, so well done, guys. If you listen to this back on replay, you're making it look a lot easier than I would the 2nd time round. We've got the first of our Tauranga Boys, another school known for some big names like George Wiley is a notable competitor from Tauranga Boys. So well done, Az Kabuso from back in the day.
Bradley Smith will be really proud right now.
Shout out, Brad. You were awesome team manager when we went to Aussie. You're a great guy. So you do a great job down there at Tauranga Boys, as we've got all manner of schools. I see McLean's, I see more Westlake, I see more Tauranga Boys coming through there. So
Tawa. Go Tawa College.
And it's really about like kind of, oh, hey, I can see my mate's singlet up there. I can see my school that I recognize, and kind of moving through and going, that's a great point to kind of keep working up through this field. And, if you're feeling good and you're looking at the people in front of you and they're not looking so good, this is the time to kind of make those passing moves. More Westlake, more Tauranga, and you can see some more athletes splitting out left to kind of take that, like, cut around, as you will. But that's 6 or 7 seconds that you maybe can't afford to lose. Got a great example of team running here from Westlake Boys, those 3 boys working together. So well done.
Another or Taha Mato, so off to the right.
You can see Jacob Williams really just stretching away there. He'll be coming up that final last little hill and then kind of rolling off the top of that, and then you just hit that finishing straight. So he's just gone from the gun basically and gone wire to wire, which is fantastic to see, and a great example of how, you know, if you trust yourself, you got that inner confidence, you trust your training, that's all you got to do. Looks still very, very relaxed, so well done, Jacob.
Second in Whangarei last year. He's going to go one better this year as Jacob Williams, local from Hutt Valley High School.
You can see just screaming down that hill there, Hugh Robinson looks coming home full of running, which is great to see. You know, you always want to be feeling like you've got something left at the end, and it looks like he is trying to hold off that Matthew Mickeldron.
Well, I think Caleb Dobie has now moved into third out of Kings High in a similar singlet.
Apologies, Caleb, if we've been calling you Matthew this
time.
time.
I think Matthew was prominent. I'm pretty confident he was, certainly around the first lap.
And that is, we've got our number 4th. We've got Daniel Mumby out of Hamilton Boys High School. So that's a great run for him through there. And then we have some of our para boys coming through the line, which is fantastic to see.
Oh, well done.
So great run. That was number 385. We will get your name on this shortly. That was Hugo McFarlane out of Papanui High School. Well done, Hugo. We've got some more para boys coming through.
Karawe,
and
Hugo.
Jacob Williams coming through with them as well. So congratulations to the paras and also to
nice work.
Jacob Williams.
Congratulations, boys. And you can see that finish line is getting muddier and muddier. So it's only getting harder and harder from here,
That's right.
unfortunately, for the races remaining. But fantastic. And that's
Katie
Hugh Robinson
Lede.
coming through for second. Great run, Hugh. And that is Caleb Dobie out of Kings High School coming through for third. Stoppers watched the finish line. And that is Daniel Mumby out of Hamilton Boys coming through in fourth. So fantastic running. And he played a smart race. He was sitting in that fourth position through there.
Aue e whakaroa.
And this looks like Tauranga Boys with a big sprint finish. And that will be Antonio Basile, who won Waibop Schools earlier. And we've got our rest of our top 10 coming in through here.
Local runner out of Hibs there, Hutt International Boys. There's Matthew Mickeldron finishing now after being prominent early.
Oh, yeah.
So great runs from all these boys, and you can see celebrations through the line. We've done a great run, and I know that was 2 of the St. Peter's boys, and here's the 3rd coming in here. So you'll be looking at those team points and tallying them up and going, gosh, like, who did I outkick at the line? Who did I beat? Who's still behind me, still to go? That's going to count towards these big scores. So I know you're standing around cold, but you're excited and waiting to see what the numbers are going to shape up like. More St. Peter's here.
Races within races too across the line, sprinting for that one extra spot, one higher spot.
And speaking of team, another whakatauki that comes to mind to do with teams, ia hara taku toa i te toa takitahi, engare he toa takitini. So my strength is not that of an individual, but that of the collective, and that is the epitome of teamwork.
So we're watching the finishes here in the junior boys over 4 kilometres. We've just ticked through the 15-minute mark. A number of these boys be racing the clock.
Exactly, and I mean, close to the clock, but also, you know, cross-country times don't really count. It's really about that place by place. You see 3 or 4 Westlake boys come through here, and great example of working together as a team and kind of pushing on and going, you know, maybe I'm not running for myself today, I am running for the team with the strength of the pack as opposed to the strength of the individual. So thank you, Heidi. And we've got boys on the ground and boys holding the fence for support, but that is
and race back to the rescue.
Fantastic to see. So well done, Reese, for helping these runners there. But
Nice
you know,
work.
if you've given your all, there's nothing that you can be disappointed in, really. And it's we've also got our top 3. So it was Jacob Williams out of Hutt Valley High School, Hugh Robinson out of Westlake Boys, and Caleb Dobie out of King's College. So well done to those 3 as the rest of the names scroll through there.
Yeah, just on, there's a King's College and a King's High, and Caleb, he's from King's High down in Dunedin, the Otago champion, Daniel Mumby, who you identified coming through there, Sasha finishing 4th, and Antonio Basile, as you mentioned, Bryn Espin out of New Plymouth Boys High School into 6th, Hunter Flowers from Southland Boys crossed in 7th, then Ruben Hain, he was the Hibs runner, Hunt International Boys High School, just down the road next to Trentham Race Course. and Harrison Skews, Matthew Meikle-John. He was the first St Patrick's College Silver Stream runner home in 9th, ahead of Harrison Skews from St Peter's College in Auckland in 10th. Congratulations to all.
And I've just pulled up a little bit of the 3-person teams results here, and it looks like, based on these scores, it will be St Peter's College out of Auckland taking out that 3-person junior men's 4K team, and then Westlake Boys, and then Tauranga Boys College. But very close there for that second and third. We've got 51 points to 53 points. So that's, a sprint at the line, that last little kick going, I want this for my team and I want this for the other boys around me, as opposed to just fighting for myself. So well done. And then later on there will be the 6-person team results tallied, but I believe those are given out later at the prize giving. So we'll see that a bit later, which I believe is 4 p.m. today.
After a hot bath.
Oh, exactly. A hot shower, something good to eat, and a nice cool down, and catch up with your friends from around the country, which always goes a long way, as the rains kind of hit these boys harder now as they're finishing and crossing the line, and it's definitely looking slipperier and slipperier underfoot. So well done, boys. And, brave if you're running in bare feet, but you can see most of these boys are in shoes or spikes and kind of getting it done. So well done, boys. Got a sprint finish coming through here from one of our para athletes. Fantastic run there.
Well done.
Camera indicating how the weather has deteriorated during the last 20 minutes or so since this race started 18 and a half minutes ago.
Motivating, the faster you cross that finish line, the faster there's a towel and there's a warm drink and there's a parent waiting for you with an umbrella. But, it's all about giving your best effort on the day. So all these boys are definitely out there doing it and braving the conditions. So, kudos, boys.
Off the back of the finish of the junior boys and para boys, there'll be a break before the year 9s take their place.
Looks like Jacob Gibson there from Aotea College coming through. As the weather still keeps bucketing down here, so well done, boys. Looks like Daniel Rogers out of Cullinane. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Another boy, number 591. That looks like Lachlan Maunda out of St. Peter's in Cambridge. And 726, we have got, let me just flick through my list. That would be Ryan Stowe out of Wellington College. So, local boy out there doing his school proud. So, well done.
Congratulations to all. Finishing quite an achievement, especially in the conditions that the junior boys have faced here this afternoon. And the para boys.
Exactly. Oliver Denton out of St. Peter's. Oh no, excuse me, I missed that first time. We got another Westlake boy coming through. Awesome to see. That looks like Justin Saji out of Westlake Boys High School. So lovely to see these big teams from, further up in the country bringing all their athletes down and competing and really giving it their best shot. So, it's
and
about
enjoying
being
our
there
beautiful
and
weather. Tēnā koutou katoa nā kai whakateite. I really feel for the supporters right now. Look at them.
They got their puffer jackets on.
They do.
They're warm. All those competitors are in singlets, so they're the ones out there doing the hard yards.
That's true.
12:30 for our next, which is the year 9 boys, Just Kevin's year 9 boys over the 3 kilometres. We're going to take a break here on our live streaming coverage of the 52nd New Zealand Secondary Schools Cross Country. Quick opportunity though to acknowledge our sponsors, thank them and the supporters for those who are bringing you this coverage today. Obviously to Whakaata Māori for providing the platform to share this event with whānau across Aotearoa today, helping us showcase our rangatahi, bringing the action to audiences free of charge too, and accessible no matter where you are in Aotearoa. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank Te Tara Whiri Te Reo Māori for their ongoing support and development with Te Reo Māori and strengthening its presence in events like this. And a big sponsor to our Big thank you to our sponsors as well, Bailey's Real Estate, Caltex, Nativa, Apollo Projects and Anchor. Their sponsorship enables us to share this event with you and your whānau, and for backing the growth of sport and community initiatives right across Aotearoa. Got Heidi Humphreys with us. Heidi, you got anything you want to take us to the break with today or this afternoon?
Oh,
Give you the opportunity to think about that. And Sasha Lideker, first few races down, well, we're halfway through now, aren't we? And conditions only to get worse, but that's cross country. It's a winter sport.
That's real cross country. It is a winter sport, and I know after the Year 9 boys race, there is my personal favourite race, probably because I'm a little biased to all my friends competing in this race, but it will be the senior girls. And I know last year, I think I talked for 20 minutes straight on the commentary because I got so caught up in watching my friends race and be out there. I was like, gosh, I wish I was there running. But at the same time, you know, I like being warm and dry in this cabin with 4 walls and a roof. But I'm looking forward to both those senior races. And I know for quite a few of those senior athletes, the big thing with these races is like kind of looking forward to what's your next steps too. And if you're chasing like a scholarship opportunity, or you're kind of looking to make your mark and move on to that international competition, this is a great place to go, hey, like, I'm one of the ones you got to watch, I'm one of the ones you got to beat, and I'm kind of working towards those next level of competitions. And top 10 in those senior races, well, I believe it's an automatic selection through to the New Zealand secondary schools team that will compete in Australia at the Australian Schools Championships. So running for a New Zealand singlet is always something that's also enticing, and kind of once you put on that black singlet, it's pretty special, even if it is just over the ditch in Australia. But looking forward to the Year 9 boys race, which is all about, you know, getting out there and competing and giving it your best shot and just getting used to it. And then you get to those senior races where you've been around the block, you know what you're doing, you're kind of looking towards this with the kind of calculated, smarter mindset and going, okay, like, where do I win this race? Where do I make my moves? I know these people very well at this point in time, and I know I'm personally looking forward to seeing how some of my friends and people that I know get on, so that will be exciting.
Looking forward to that too. The old man's cramped up here. That's why I've leapt out of my seat here. But we will be back soon, of course, for our later races. 12:30 is the Year 9 boys. We don't focus so much on that, but we'll bring you some pictures. And at 1:10, the senior girls. But perhaps to take us out, Heidi?
Whakapaua tō kaha ki a mano nui ki atoa.
Are you alright?
I'll be back once I'm stretching.
Caught up in a dream that I just thought was passing through, colored in with vivid memories of me and you. And on a moonlit night, I've never seen stars this bright. No, I can't help it. I've been catching feelings over you. I hope you catch them too. I hope you catch them too. I've been going crazy. I've been going crazy. I hope you're crazy too. I hope you're crazy too. Crazy too.
This is an opportunity that we can't pass up.
Funding is a real challenge. We know that a lot of schools face that ongoing, and the reality is if you go to a lower decile school in New Zealand, you are less likely to be able to afford to participate in sport.
Obviously, having come through it myself with kids and being one of those kids myself who played sport, I know how much it defined who I was. And now being able to go, I can't fix it all, but we can help and try and give to those people who are going through tough times. It's a real privilege, but you know, for us, we want to see others get involved in it. This is not a selfish thing for Apollo. This is about how can we get, whether it's construction or other businesses, to get involved in this.
There's a lot of things that kids miss out on, and so to have businesses step up and want to be involved and to help is a game changer for schools. It really is.
Woke up late, somewhere far away from home. Pockets empty, wallet gone. Sun is streaming all on down in my face. Laying down on someone's bed, a girl that I had hardly met. My head is spinning like up and down days. Now you're waking up to lying next to me in your room. Now I'm quite used to someone so new. Did you catch my name? Yeah, I wonder how long I've slept in. I don't know where the hell I've been. I know that's alright. Last night we met at 1, drank till 2, danced till 4, walked you home, away till dawn, slept till noon, and now one more. I got that taste, oh, in my mouth. It's like I had too much last night. It just felt so right because of you. Now I could go or I could stay, 'cause I got nothing planned today, and I know that's alright. Last night we met at 1, drank till 2, danced till 4, walked you home, away till dawn, slept till noon, and now one more. Why is it so easy with the lights down? Why is it so easy when the night's out? Why is it so easy with the lights down? Why is it so easy? Yeah, so easy.
Woke up late, somewhere far away from home. Pockets empty, wallet gone. The sun is streaming on down on my face. Yeah, last night was fun, let's do it again. We both know we're more than friends, and I know that's alright. Last night we met at 1, drank till 2, danced till 4, walked you home, away till dawn, slept till noon, and now one more. Last night we met at 1, drank till 2, danced till 4, I walked you home, away till dawn, slept till noon, and now one more. Why is it so easy with the lights down? Why is it so easy when the night's out? Why is it so easy with the lights down? Why is it so easy? Yeah, so easy. Last night
We met at 1,
drank till 2,
danced till 4, walked you home,
away till dawn, slept till noon,
and now one more.
Kia ora, welcome back into the coverage here at Trent, a race that we focus on in keeping with the secondary schools sports charter, but we will bring you the result at the end of it, and you may be able to spot your whānau in the pictures that we're bringing you. I'm Mark Rosanowski, along with me is Sasha Letica and also Heidi Jane Humphreys. Heidi, welcome back in.
Ahakoa te ua me te paru kei te kaha tonu nā kaipara. Kua maku nā waiwai, engari, kaore.
Competing and kind of learning your way around, a cross-country course, and also your routines around race day and all that, as you can see these big wide shots with these boys coming through. And it's really just about being there and experiencing what it's like. And year 9's your first year in high school, so this is your first big chance at a nationals and chance to race and chance to compete. So it's awesome to see all these guys out here in the cold and rain of Wellington just giving it their best shot.
And having a look through the list, very slippery part of the course now.
Yes, definitely. Now that it's been trod over by 3 out of the 6 races, these boys would probably want to be wearing, that 12 mil spike. I think if I was competing, I'd be in a 12 mil as opposed to a 9 or a 15, but that would go a long way because it is very slippery out. But still a pretty fast and can be flat course if you're ready to roll and feeling fit. So a lot of these boys coming through here just kind of working their way through the field.
And as Mark said, kua tei mai nā kura mai e nā tōpito katoa o Aotearoa.
So it's Year 9 boys, it's race number 4 of our day, and we're broadcasting to you on the live stream of Whakata Māori. We thank them for once again providing this platform for us to share this event with whānau across Aotearoa, helping us to showcase our rangatahi and bringing the action to audiences free of charge and accessible no matter where you are in this beautiful country of Aotearoa. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank Te Tarawhiti Te Reo Māori for their ongoing support and development with Te Reo Māori and strengthening its presence at events like this. Big thanks to Heidi Humphreys for providing Te Reo for us today, and a big thank you to the sponsors as well: Bailey's Real Estate, Caltex, Nativa, Apollo Projects and Anchor. Their sponsorship enables us to share this event with you and your whānau, and for backing the growth of sport and community initiatives across Aotearoa. Year 9 boys currently in action at 1:10 this afternoon. The senior girls over the 4 kilometres, the Year 9 boys doing 3 kilometres, and we conclude with the senior boys, and they will do 3 circuits of this 2 kilometre course, 6 kilometres, which in the choppy conditions by then, Sasha, is going to be quite a test.
it's going to be a long way to go, but that's also definitely one of the things that you got to think about as, you know, racing in those senior races. You got to go, okay, so the conditions are the same for everyone, and I got to make we just got our big wide drone shot that you can see some of these conditions on this hill, and, you know, with a hill like that and mud like that, you just got to commit to going down. You just got to make sure you're not kind of braking and using your spikes well, and just really flying down that hill and then taking that momentum onto the flat, which you can see some of our boys here doing, and learning those skills now. And, you know, maybe you fall over once and you get back up and you never fall over again, hopefully. But it's all about learning and kind of growing from those experiences. So you can see much more of the boys come through here at Trentham Memorial Park, which is, you know, personally, I love this course. It looks like it'd be a great course to compete in, and kind of sad that one of my secondary schools crosses never happened here, but a great place to host a cross country, and definitely something unique with the steeple barriers and crossing a stream twice. So these boys have got their work cut out for them, but they're all giving their best effort, as you can see.
And kei te timata nā waiwai, ki te taumaha. So their legs are starting to feel really heavy.
Definitely. And once you've been through that stream and, you know, your shoes are wet and your socks are wet, you can hear yourself squelching with every step. You're like, gosh, like, I just got to keep going. And you can see our winner crosses the finish line there. So we will try and get some race results up for you. But with the Year 9 boys and the Year 9 races in general, it's really all about that participation. You know, every runner's come here from the top of the country to the bottom of the country and
Karawe.
getting their work done. So nice work, boys. And see a sprint finish happening here for that coveted bronze medal. So come on, you know, all the way to the finish line.
Sprint. Whakamutinga.
Winner coming in just under 10:20, and a really good bunch finish in behind, as we have mentioned throughout the broadcast thus far. The team events, highly sought after. Teams of 3, teams of 6 can count 4 points.
Exactly, and, you know, especially in this age group where, like, participation is the main focus and kind of getting involved. If you're out there and you're winning like a 3-person or a 6-person team's medal, you know, you want to come back next year and you want to try and win, you know, medal of a different color. You may want to go silver or gold if you got bronze the year before, and you want to come back with your mates and kind of experience something fun. So that's really all what it's about. As you can see, these boys coming across the finish line, all different schools, all different singlets, but all looking like they've given their best effort on the day. And watching this finish line getting muddier and muddier, which is, you know, all part of it.
And here, Oma Tino Rawe, Year 9s.
Had the opportunity during the break to head a little bit closer to the action, and saw a medal ceremony for the junior boys, and really enthusiastic support right across the country as they announced the top 10 medals, obviously, with the gold, silver and bronze, but then certificates back to 10th as well, Sasha. Very cleanly received and very warmly applauded from Southland to Northland. It seems like the supporters from everywhere here.
Definitely, and that's one of the, you know, great parts of cross country. I said earlier that you travel to some places around New Zealand that you might not necessarily see, or you might not necessarily have a reason to go yourself, but you learn a little bit more about the culture and, you know, the history of a place when you run along it. So Heidi, is there anything about, you know, the culture and the history of here at Trentham Memorial that you've got off the top of your head?
Just the stuff that I was talking about before, with the, hang on, let me just see where I've put my,
it's one of my favorite parts is seeing, you know, different places to run, and even like making friends from around the country. So they're like, hey, like, this is my home course, this is my hometown, this is what it's like to run around here. And, you know, you really do get just invaluable experience from traveling and racing. So hit us with something about.
Okay, so just a little bit of stuff about Heretaunga. So before European settlement, the Trentham and Heretaunga area was part of the district known as Orungamai, which I talked about earlier. The Hutt River, now called Te Awa Kairangi, was known as Heretaunga and served as the important transport route for Māori travelling by waka. Early iwi in the area included Ngāi Tara, Ngāti Ira, while Te Atiawa became the principal iwi of the region by the 1890s. Important Māori heritage sites include Whakataka Pā and the Mā Waihakona stream, which begins in present-day Trentham Memorial Park. So these places reflect the long history of Māori occupation, travel, food gathering and settlement in Upper Hutt Valley or Rongamai.
Nice. See, like, I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't come here and hadn't been, kind of willing and open to learn about the history of the different places around the country, which is pretty cool. So last year, this event was held up in Whangarei, and I know personally I'd never actually been up to Whangarei, even despite being from Auckland, so it was great to go up there and see a new course and kind of see what the organisers up there put on, which was a fantastic event. Very different weather conditions. Last year was nice weather for the majority of the day, and here we've got some wind and rain and a little bit of that classic Wellington weather, but, as I said, the conditions are the same for everyone, so it's all about getting out there and making the most of what you've got on the day.
Conditions just like Oma Te Whenua should be, I think. Cross country, Jacob at Redcliffe. You can see the results there on the right of the screen out of Shirley Boys High School, taking out the Year 9. Christchurch boy over a local Caleb Wallace from St Patrick's College Silver Stream, which is pretty much a stone's throw down the road, and another from Te Whanganui-a-Tara, third Hudson Tom from Hutt Valley High School. We've had a good day today, as we've expected. The locals doing quite well on their home course.
Definitely.
I know Te Tahinga, the house master at Silver Stream, will be very proud. He's one of my colleagues in the PE faculty at Hiratonga College.
It's exciting. I always wished that this event would be held in Auckland one year when I was in my 5 years of secondary school, so I could have that opportunity to run on a home course and to practice on a course. And I mean, I am a little biased, but my first ever national championship, I was aged 11, and it was the New Zealand Club Cross-Country Championships that was held at Auckland Domain, so Tamaki Makaurau Domain, which was a fantastic course. And me personally, I think they should put it back there and, throw us up and down those Domain hills. But it's always nice to see how, just a bit of course familiarity can go a long way.
Funnily enough, I did one in Auckland at the same venue in the 90s.
It's tough. The Auckland Domain is not to be messed with. It's a great spot for good fartlek, good workout. And I know now that I'm back in New Zealand, it's great to kind of go back to where I did a lot of my training and then some of my racing and kind of run those loops again and go, hey, still chasing the same goals, but different place. And you come back home and it feels a lot nicer.
Good to see too in the top 10 here in the Year 9 boys. Some provincial people well represented. Geraldine High School in the Aoraki district of South Canterbury. Isaac Johnson finishing 7th, and Connor Schoon from Timaru Boys High School, also out of the Aoraki district of South Canterbury, finishing in 8th spot, and not too far down the board, boy out of Gisborne Boys High as well. Good to see those coming in from the provinces, and quite often having to travel alone too, or be part of a very small team in inverted commas.
Yes, but it's great to see that they're coming all this way. And I mean, looking forward to the senior girls race. We actually have some Australians from Brisbane Athletics, which is great to see them crossing the ditch and coming to compete, which is also an opportunity to kind of match up against the Aussies before heading over to Aussie Skills Cross for those looking to be in that New Zealand team. And in my final year in Christchurch at Ascot Park, we did have that Brisbane Athletics team come over, and I recognise some of these names here, so that'll be exciting. But back to that Year 9 boys race, we also had that coveted team results there, and I've just flicked these up briefly, and it looks extremely close between the top 3 if this is the final scoring. So that was Tauranga Boys taking out first place with 48 points, and then closely followed by Wellington College with only 52, so a 4-point differential, and then St Patrick's College of Silverstream, which is another local school, only another 6 points back with 58. So it really does matter, and kind of getting out there and going, my legs are shot, I'm really tired, but I got to race for my team and my boys out there is a good way of looking at it, especially in these Year 9 races where, it's not all about the individual win or the individual outcome.
So just over 20 minutes away from the 5th of our races today, which will be the senior girls over 4 kilometres. We'll have a look through the field shortly and see who we've marked to be prominent, some of whom come through, and of course others who escape our guard also come through. Probably an opportunity to recap some of the results from earlier, including those team results that you're so skillfully calling up there, Sasha, as well. And also to have a look through some of the para results as well. As we saw earlier, the 2 kilometre para junior men's, Papanui High School, who are very prominent in this area. Cody Lamond, the winner there out of Papanui in Christchurch. Then Albert O'Brien out of Onslow College, Wellington, second in the para junior, and Hugo McFarlane, another athlete from Papanui High, in third. We've got the
Papanui High are very good at para. They have a great team of athletes. One that I'm used to seeing at athletics a lot.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Also, with this upcoming senior girls race at 110, there is the para girls, and they will do 1 2-kilometre loop. And with these senior grades, the new exciting thing that was introduced last year is a under 17 category. So the top 3 in this under 17 category also receive medals for first, second and third, which is kind of a way of acknowledging that, hey, you can be in the senior category for 3 years, and as a young year 11 and you're looking at those year 13s, you're like, gosh, there's a long way to go. But it's kind of an acknowledgement that, there are some athletes in this field that are a little bit younger, that are competing up against older athletes, and that are still running extremely well and should be very proud of their performances. But, it's oftentimes you do get an under 17 athlete that can come through and win the entire thing. It's all about, just putting yourself in the race and not discounting yourself because of age or kind of anything like that. It's all about giving your best shot on the day, which obviously is easier said than done, but you always want to finish feeling like you've given everything you had and you can be proud of your performance. So that's a new thing to kind of acknowledge the fact that, the senior grades are a big category that encompasses a lot of students.
I think that's something really interesting, because back in the 90s, there was junior girls and senior girls, and that's it. So if you were like me, I did 3 years as a junior, 2 years as a senior. But when you're the top of the juniors and you're a year 11, things are great for you.
Exactly. You want to have one of those optimal birthdays in like January, February, or March, where you're
it made it fair for. Yeah, so I think that's a great move.
Definitely. But then again, you kind of just look at it at a big, broad international level. You kind of go, everything evens out. And it doesn't matter how old I am, it's just about how fast I can run, which is a sort of glass half empty way of looking at it. But at the same time, you can go, hey, I've got this wonderful opportunity to see who's a little bit better than me, who's a little bit faster than me, and always be chasing that. And I know when I came through secondary school, there were always athletes quicker, and I would look up to them, and they've gone on to do some great things. So that Kimberly May, they went over and competed at Providence. Hannah Gapes, who's at NC State. Macy Hilton, who's run some fantastic 800s over at SMU. Just countless names that have kind of come through and run really well. So it's always going, who am I chasing and how can I improve? And if I am the best of the best, then you got to look a bit bigger and go Australia, or you got to go worldwide. So, a name there would be Scarlett Robb, who's currently sitting out her last opportunity at a cross-country title, but also chasing big things at the World Under-20 Championships. So it's very well done. And just looking over to that broadcast quickly, you can see the beautiful conditions we have here in Wellington with the, just glowing sun.
Nau mai, haere mai, te whanganui atara.
But the conditions are the same for everyone, so you can't let that stop you.
We're 18 minutes away from the senior girls start. Hopefully things will have improved by the start, but of course they do have to warm up in these conditions. Just quickly recapping the para senior males over 2 kilometres earlier. We mentioned the para junior. This was a field of 8 dominated by Papanui High School, who had 7 athletes. Connor Carston was the winner. Congratulations, Connor, and to all of them who took part. Sam Churchill second, Toby Patterson third. Big shout out to Connor Lenton Wells, who was the non-Papanui runner there, and Connor finished fourth out of Wairarapa College.
Yeah, Wairarapa College. Yeah. I taught there as well.
So yes, the conditions are sort of not great, but at the same time, you know, I reckon this is like real New Zealand cross country, which is such a Kiwi thing to say, but you really realize how much grit it gives you and how much strength it gives you when you go overseas and you realize, yo, these guys are like running on golf courses and they're calling it hard when the grass is longer than 2 centimeters. So once you get through this, there's kind of that internal mental toughness going, you know, I can get through anything. Like I went and watched the Waikato Bay of Plenty Schools Championships earlier last week, actually, with some of my former training partners and like friends that I know competing, and they went right uphill, right downhill, through a stream and back around the course again. So it was really a test of, you know, who's just got like tough enough and who's got the heart to kind of get through that. And so, you know, once you conquer those kind of things, you come here and you go like, I got this. And it's a little kind of positive mantra to have in your back pocket that once you've done this, you can kind of do anything. So having that self-confidence again is something that you learn and grow as an athlete. You know, you start with your year 9, you're like, hey, you know, I'm not too bad at this, I kind of like this, but I get a little nervous sometimes, and you work through and you work out what works and what doesn't for you. You get your routine, and then you get to your senior spots, and you build through your senior like years. Like no one, I say no one, but you know, it's rare to show up as a year 11 and absolutely smoke the shoes off everyone. I mean, people have done it, but usually you kind of build through your career in the senior grades, which is exciting. And yeah, with that under 17 category, you kind of give a bit of acknowledgement for your hard work earlier than waiting to your final year.
Hei roto I te te kaumārima miniti, ka timata te whakateitei o ngā kōtero Pākeke. So 15 minutes until the start of the senior girls race.
And we're broadcasting in a cabin which has just been shaken for the first time today by the wind.
The weather.
They did promise potentially 120 kilometre an hour winds, and we may have just had one of those.
Yeah.
But certainly a significant wind anyway. I see some umbrellas still out there, but I'm not sure they may be rendered useless.
The umbrellas might be inside out by now, but
Oh, you don't use umbrellas in Te Whanganuiatara. They turn inside out.
no, it reminds me back at Yukon, one of my teammates, he would ask us, he'd walk up to you just before the start of the race and look you dead in the eye and be like, how bad do you want it? And I used to be like, oh gosh, like don't even ask me that, like I'm about to race, it's about to be the hardest time of my life. But at the same time, you got to be like thinking, you know, hey, it's the same for everyone, how bad do I want it and how bad do I want to work? And you know, conditions are all part of it. And I mean, I always look back to Hawera when it was just terrible conditions on the side of a cow paddock, and you can see you were wiping the mud out your eyes and you got hosed down afterwards in the sheds, and it was like, okay, like I remember that, and I remember how much fun it was at the end, so it's all worth it in the end. Learning experience.
I think it's something about growing up in a cross-country family, where in my family there were 3 of us, my brother Dean and my dad and myself. And Mum, every after cross country, would put our spikes in the bath and wash them all. And that was like the ritual every week.
There's nothing like forgetting your spikes after a whole season. So you finish your race, you put your cross spikes in your bag, you go, oh, touch them later, I'll clean them when I get home. And then you don't clean them when you get home, and you pull them out and their spikes are rusted in, and you're like, oh, these are not track usable. I remember an occasion I was like, oh, these will be fine, and I show up for the first track workout and there are 12 mil spikes in, and I'm like covered in mud, covered in rust. I was like, oh, these are not fine. But you know, you learn the hard way.
Yes. Recapping some earlier results, if you're just joining us on this live stream coverage on Whakato Māori this afternoon of the 52nd New Zealand Secondary Schools Cross Country here at Trentham Memorial Park, Te Whanganuiatara. Sasha Mitchell was the winner of our first race today, the junior girls over the 3 kilometres. Sasha out of St Margaret's College in Christchurch, over Daisy Ruth from Otamatai College there in Tauranga. Really good battle too, and Charlotte Ovenden did well to finish into 3rd out of Havelock North in the Hawke's Bay. So Sasha, as in Sasha Letica this time, seems to be a popular runner's name at the minute.
Oh, it goes a long way.
Fast.
Yes. Would you change your warm up in conditions like this, or would you just expose yourself to the elements and go for it?
I would just expose myself to the elements and go for it. But the thing is, being just super warm. I've just watched a bunch of girls run past in singlets and shorts, and I'm going, oh, you know, you really want the track pants, you want the layers close to your skin so you can stay as warm as possible, and then like a little windbreaker layer, a little rain, like waterproof layer to go on top. And ideally, look, this sounds insane, but something my dad/coach always drilled into me was the importance of keeping your head warm. And it's going, you know,
So
you need a
funny,
hat,
that's
you need a
true.
beanie, you need to make sure you're not kind of losing heat, because then you're just wasting unnecessary energy on kind of keeping yourself warm. And in conditions like these, what I would do is I would shorten my warm-up, so I would make it shorter time duration but more intensity, and I'd be doing these stride outs going, you know, I gotta bring my body up to like race level conditions and kind of get that blood flowing, and as opposed to, you know, being exposed for a long period of time. And the good thing with cross country is it is one of those races that you can kind of warm up into it. You can get through the first K and go, okay, I feel a bit more opened up now. I can kind of cruise through my gears and go a little bit faster on the back half of this course. So not kind of, the key fundamental is not wasting energy too early, especially in a warm-up process. So just staying warm.
It's funny how wise our fathers are.
I used to hate him for it. I'd be like, I'm not wearing a beanie, I'm not wearing a hat. What do you mean? And then I moved to Connecticut, and the lowest it got was negative 28 degrees Celsius. And I was like, oh, like, can I have a hat? And can I have a beanie? And can I have a scarf? And regional cross country was held in New Hampshire, and it was a great, I think it was like negative 5 degrees Celsius. And I raced in gloves, 2 pairs of gloves, and a long sleeve and long socks. And I was like, gosh, like New Zealand was like nothing compared to this. But, you know, you learn and you kind of move through it. But definitely, I used to say I'm never wearing a hat ever in my life, and then I was like, can I have 2 hats?
Oh, and here's a lovely whakatauki that we could lead into that conversation really nicely. Ko ngā mātua, ngā pou, o te whare. So parents are the pillars of the house.
Exactly. And, like, shout out to all the parents that have, you know, traveled this
Absolutely.
distance and come
Look at them
this
all out
way,
there.
and they're all out there with some with umbrellas and a lot without umbrellas and their puffers and like supporting the kids. And I know personally having the support of not only my dad as my coach, but also my mom, and she was just there and she's like, are you enjoying it? Like, are you having a good time? And like, do you love what you're doing? And kind of being asked if I liked it was always a good way of going, actually, no, I do love it, and thank you for the support. And she was always like, you know, if you don't want to do something, like, I'm going to support you in whatever you do. So all these parents are doing a great job at supporting their kids.
Nami, certainly do. 4 kilometres for the junior men this morning, just recapping that result. Local victory for Hutt Valley High School. Jacob Williams, who'd been second last year, wins this year over Hugh Robinson, second from Westlake Boys up on the North Harbour, and Caleb Dobia out of King's High School in Dunedin finished third there. And as we close in on start time, about 8 minutes away officially from the senior girls, over the 4 kilometres for them, so 2 times the 2 kilometre loop. Sasha, I know you've highlighted 1 or 2. In fact,
Oh gosh. This
quite a
is
few
like,
more. In fact, on the first page, we've both got quite a few, so that would suggest that this is quite a deep field.
This is, okay, so I'm going to sound very obviously biased here, but these are like my friends and the people that I know, and I've recognized quite a few names having raced them when I was the old person and they were just starting in the senior grade. So I think last year I mentioned that I talked for like 20 minutes straight, and then I looked up from my mic and I was like, gosh, I just talked that whole race. But I know that there are quite a few names in this field that I'll run down the list. And so first that I can see that I've highlighted is Eleanor Pugh out of Bethlehem College. You might recognize that last name. For those that know cross country, you got her father Michael Pugh is a great runner, and older brothers Elliot and Ian, currently in the US on scholarship, Ian at Indianapolis and Elliot at Providence. So, you know, part of a long line of proud Pugh family runners. So Eleanor is looking to win in her final year as a year 13, and you know, she won Waikato Bay of Plenty schools and looked pretty comfortable doing that, and she's got a great 3K, 5K, 1500 PR, so that'll be exciting. Have to do a shameless plug too. She's committed to the University of Connecticut, so another Kiwi off to UConn, which is great.
Yeah.
But we also have...
She finished 6th last year too, Eleanor, so she's one of the higher returnees, if you like.
Yeah, we also have, well, speaking of higher returnees, we have Danica Clooney, who was second here last year, and Danica's a real cross-country specialist. She's from Whangarei up in Northland, so real tough runner. I really like the way Danica just, like, has just such great strength and just grits it out. So I'll be looking forward to seeing her, but also the likes of a bunch from Dowston School up in Auckland. We've got Hannah McManus, Indy Williams, and Maddie Worrell. Those Indy, great triathlete, and Maddie also a fantastic triathlete, and those two ran very well at the Auckland Schools Championships, so be looking forward to them too. We have also a little training partner of mine, Asher Edwards, out of Takapuna Grammar School. So Asher also in year 13, looking to kind of close off on a high and see how well she can do. She also represented New Zealand at the Australian Schools Championships and was part of that team that ended up on the West Coast, I believe, last year, which is exciting. So there are some girls in this field that have already had that international representation. But also, gosh, I'm looking at loads more names. And Millie McFadgen out of St. Peter's College in Gore. She was a Southland champ by over 2 minutes,
Isn't that
if
crazy?
I'm not mistaken, which is a fantastic lead and kind of winning performance. And we also have, I recognise some familiar last names, McLean Gordon, her sister Bryn, excellent athlete, committed to Elon. We've got Millie McLean out of Palmerston North Girls High, who is a younger sister of Lucy, I believe. And we also have, Sophia Haynes out of Dowston. So looking at those team results, Dowston School for Girls out of Auckland would be looking to do well on that front. Also in the mix would be Polina Klimova out of Wentworth College up in Auckland. She ran very well at the Auckland Schools Champs, and I'm seeing more and more familiar last names. We've got Rachel Wagner, so that was the younger sister of Caleb Wagner, who, stormed to victory in that senior boys race last year. So loads of good running families and running names that I recognise, which is very, very exciting. Juju Moorhead, another name out of Wellington Girls, so a local. She's the North Island Secondary School's 3,000 and 1,500 metre champ on the same weekend, and also went to Kenya as part of that World Schools team. So I know Juju, and I know she'll be gunning to win after she won Wellington Schools. So
that was really close too, I believe.
It was very close.
With Lucy Maben. So yeah.
Lucy Maben, yes, another name to pick up. So two local girls who will have been running on this course, training on this course. That'll be a good battle. And you don't often get a dip at the line in cross country, but
exactly.
It's very, very rare, but very exciting. So
and Lucy's in the under 17 category that you mentioned earlier, but it sounds like she should be very competitive overall.
Yeah, no, it's great to see some of those under 17 athletes going, like, what do you mean? Like, I can challenge whoever I want, and I can kind of try and go for those results whenever I want. So
Wellington Girls would look to be prominent in the teams, you would think. Izzy DeHare also in there representing them. They've got a good number in here. Taylor Cox, the Canterbury champion out of Christchurch Girls, also on page 1. So, gee, we've mentioned a lot of names.
We've got a lot of names, and we've got a lot of pages of start name lists and bib sheets, and we can see them now all on the start line looking fractionally cold, but gosh, that's cross country, and it's great to see just the sheer amount of senior girls that are lined up here. It's kind of one of those things that you consider in sport. It's that drop-off rate for like girls as they go through sport, and it's all about staying in it. And you might not have the best season, but you got to come back the next year, and you got to give it another shot. So just seeing all these girls is fantastic. And we also have our para girls completing 1 2K lap of this course out here as part of this race too, which is great to see. So they will have the red bib numbers. So most of these girls here have a white bib with a black number. The U17s, so the younger seniors, will have a black number with a red background, and then the para athletes will have a white bib with a red number. So all ways to differentiate your athlete or loved one in the crowd. So we'll be doing our best to kind of pick through those names, but I recognize a lot of names and faces, so
that's got to be very helpful here, because obviously with the conditions we've got, and a shout out to our crew, doing a great job out there in really trying conditions. You can see there our link just coming and going just a little, and also we can't have the drone in the air. You can see the wind might have set off a couple of car alarms there too, by the looks of it too, in the car park. But the drone, unfortunately, we won't have the drone footage for this race with the current prevailing conditions. Very, very strong winds and rain facing the senior girls. Just in the para girls, there are 3 in the lineup. They're all out of Masterton. Yeah.
Wairarapa College?
Well, like Gary from Solway College. There's
Oh,
Sarah
excellent.
Aldridge from Makata College
Oh,
in
yeah.
Masterton, and Amelia Troke from Wairarapa. So,
I
Exciting
think
to see.
one of those girls, her brother does riding for the disabled with my son.
oh, cool.
Yeah, so I've been told to check out check out one of them who's racing today.
Awesome. You can see these girls step up to the line, but it's feet behind the line, which, you always get a little bit nervous and you always want a centimetre more on your competitor. So you can see loads of them there and they're ready to go in their starting gates and heading out for that big, wide, probably fast start.
Anei te wā kua rua e tātari ana rātou. So this is the moment they've been waiting for.
They're ready. There's been a lot of training that goes towards this. And, when you think about it, you've got obviously big things like medals and certificates and a New Zealand black singlet on the line. But at the same time, it's like, hey, I want to leave today feeling like I did my best. And that's also what matters in the senior category, even as it gets a little bit more competitive up there.
2 kilometre Huarahi course, and they do that twice for 4 kilometres as we get
Kua
underway.
rere rātou. And they're off.
We're a little bit pixels, but hey, you know what? We got a long way to go. We got hopefully less than 16 minutes, but that all depends on the conditions, and it's great to see these girls get out. And we can see our sponsors' flags there too, waving in our wind, so thank you to them for making it possible.
He timatanga tere rawa tēnei. So this is a very fast start.
True, we can see all the spectators running because it's like, great, I've seen my child start, but now I got to get to the other side before they do, which is easier said than done because these girls have gone out hard and, this all depends on what kind of race plan you've got. If you know you're fit and you know you want to race and you're just going to go, this is my race and I'll take it from the start, then it's up to you as to how you play it. But oftentimes, after that first lap, people kind of begin to sort themselves out and you work out who, you got to beat, who you got to hide behind in this wind and who, wants it bad enough, who's willing to bleed the most. So we'll see how it goes. That looks like, I want to say, even from here, I can recognize her technique. That would be Denica Clooney out of
The gutsy from Whangarei.
Whangarei.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember you said that.
She was second last year, so she'll be looking to go that one spot better and kind of take the win after Sienna Mackley, who's committed to Harvard, so it's exciting for Sienna, but she's going big, and I could see Sienna run across the broadcast to support her friends, which is fantastic. So you've got everyone here supporting their athletes, and unless you've done it, you don't know what that's like. So good job, girls.
And we'll pick up the athletes at any vantage point we possibly can. Obviously, a little bit limited without the drone coverage.
I believe that is Denica coming through there, and that is, let me catch that in a second. I think that is one of the local girls, I believe. I'm not sure. It could be from one of the Canterbury athletes, but it's hard to catch bib numbers and then assign them to names as they come through, but I'm watching them flick through, and that is Maddie Worrell in third there as they're coming on this flat part, the window of the cabin. I can see some other names like Eleanor Pugh and Indy Williams in there and Asher Edwards in there too, so it's sort of the usual suspects as you go through there. Number 88, that is Taylor Cox out of Christchurch Girls.
Nicely picked.
Good work on her. She's one of our U17 athletes, so as I said, one of those slightly younger athletes going, age doesn't mean anything when I'm competing against all these girls, and a competition is a competition, so you want to be up there. And that's Denica and Taylor and Maddie Worrell out of Diocesan School for Girls in that first group of 3, but we've got Eleanor Pugh and Salome Leinfeldner out of City Impact coming through there too, and then we've got a lot of girls making their way through. I see Asher and a bunch of Wellington College looking for those team results too, which is all important, and a big honour to take home
Wellington
a team
East,
medal.
I think those blue singlets are.
Good opportunity for you to find your whānau here in the shot that we have as they all pass through here on the first lap of 2 kilometre laps, 4 kilometres in total. Denica Clooney, Taylor Cox the current leaders.
And you can see some of those bib numbers in there. I've got the red backing on them, and then the black number, which is our new category introduced last year, the U17 athletes. So it's awesome to see how many of them are here and kind of competing against these seniors that are just slightly older. But you can see also they're coming round that first big curve as you head out towards the back of the 2K loop, and it's a great shot of how spread out this first bunch are, but also how they're beginning to work together and kind of pack up, and you don't want to let those gaps form, especially when it's getting windy and rainy. So great work to see how they kind of work in pairs, work in threes, building towards the back of this 2K loop.
Kei te piri tonu a te ropu mātua. So the lead pack is staying close together at the moment.
That is Denica and Taylor, and that looks like, judging based purely off technique, I would like to say that's Millie out of St. Peter's and Gore, and then Maddie, and then it looks like Salome out of City Impact, and then Eleanor in the red there. So
Nice
gosh,
work.
it makes me feel...
And we've got the drone up now, you can see as well, so it's great work from the
fantastic
crew
drone shot,
to
yes.
get that drone up in pretty trying conditions.
Top three, kei te neke whakamaua ia. So they're making their move.
They are, and this is where you can see that mud on that little hill and around this back here, and it's been well churned up by all 4 races before them. So it's just picking your line through the mud really, and making sure you're not wasting too much energy, like my dad always used to say.
Sasha, is there any talk out there, or is everyone just very focused together?
Oh, there's no talk now. Sometimes there's talk if you've got a particularly slow first K. It's like, oh, you know, who's going to take it, or we're going to wait, or something like that. But once it's strung out like it is here, you're really focusing on, hey, like, I got to keep my eyes up. Like, I can't be looking down all the time. I got to look to that next bunch ahead. Or if you're in that top bunch, you're going, okay, so I can hear my competitors next to me breathing. What are they doing? How do they sound? How do I feel? And kind of making sure you're running within yourself and confident in how your race plan's going to be executed. So great drone footage of this race here, and you can see that top 3 have just gone, nope, if you want to win, you got to come with me, and really strung it out. So
Yeah, ko te manawa nui te mea nui e nai nei. So endurance is what matters right now.
yeah, and you can, and we can see perfects and bib numbers. That is Taylor and Denica and Millie in that top 3. And Millie, yes, she won Southlands by over 2 minutes, which is an extremely impressive run. So
Finished 9th last year too, so she's got some unfinished business.
exactly, she's running fantastic.
Is that a Sacred Heart Lower Heart runner in 4th?
That is, gosh, what, 450?
Madison Wass.
Maddie Wass out
Yeah.
of Sacred Heart,
Oh,
indeed. And
yeah.
we've got number 58. That's one of our Australians coming through there. That's Coco Fiddler. I recognise her from Christchurch.
We've
got
turned the
some
weather
more
on for them.
Wellington girls coming through. That's Asha Edwards out of Takapuna.
And some girls from
Some Dawson's
Olympic
girls.
Harriers running in the blue tops.
So we've got just a great number of girls coming through here, and you know, hey, it's not over till it's over, you know, to use a other sporting phrase. You gotta, if you're gonna win in Game 7, you gotta lose at least 3. So if you're losing a little bit of places now, there's still that last challenge shot when you
That
come
slippery
round.
slope as well.
Yeah.
And the creek as well, which is tricky, even though there's some sort of artificial matting coming out of it. It's
Yeah,
it's pretty treacherous.
when you get a bit tired, you know, anything can happen. So
they're sliding down.
oh gosh,
I
you can
love
see
it.
in the background of that footage, you know, hey, maybe it's quicker than running down it.
Too
So
good.
each to their own.
Yeah.
That's part of
how
what
I'd
cross
get down
country's
there.
about. And you can
That's
see,
so
yeah,
good.
they've come through that start finish line again, and it looks like that is Denica and Millie pulling away from Taylor in 3rd. So now it's like if you're those runners sitting in 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th, you want to be looking up and going, hang on, I can see that singlet coming back to me. And so Taylor will be likewise looking, hey, I got to close that gap to
Just try to hang on there.
Denica
It's a
and
lonely
Millie.
place to be if she gets any further back
Yes.
off those two.
Whaia kia tata koe e tuku. So close the gap and don't give up. That's what she needs to do.
And it's like you'd rather suffer a little bit now and close that gap than suffer a lot later and kind of watch your hopes slipping away, which is a bit negative, but at the same time, you know, it's all about how bad do you want it and how much are you willing to bleed, as two incredibly cheesy phrases, but ones that go a long way when you're considering, you know, the sport of cross country and what it is. So great working together here from Danica and Millie to just pull away, and they've gone, you know, if you want to run with us and you want to make it a race that you're going to win, you got to go hard. So,
and we've got one's from Northland, one's from Southland, so it's a true representation of Aotearoa.
True. tough runners.
Roa ka taia ki te rārangi I mutinga, so it's not long until the finish line.
They're going to hit the water for the third time, which will be maybe a deciding time, because it looks like, you know, they're like stride for stride at this point. So it's all about who absorbs this the best, comes through it, and then goes, now this is my time to kick away on the flat here.
He toa ia te tinei rā. Engari, he toa katoa nā kai whakateite. So they are the champions today, but every competitor is a winner.
Exactly. And it is about recognizing that, you know, we have got this broadcast focused on that top three, which is now Danica, Millie and Taylor. But at the same time, everyone in this field is competing to the best of their abilities. So it's great. And we also have our para girls running this one lap of this 2-kilometer course, which is fantastic to see them out there, those three, giving it their best shot, as we have another great drone footage of some crossing the stream for the fourth and final time, and you can see all the parents and supporters there going, come on now, you know, you got to get through it, you got to keep your eyes up and not worry about it too much. So good on you, girls. Can't say I'm too disappointed to be missing this part of the course, but you know, it builds heart, builds strength.
Danica Clooney in front from Millie Midfadzian and Taylor Cox. They established themselves as the leading trio early on.
And yeah, Danica's really gone, you know, hey, I was second last year and I want to win, and I want to win in my own terms. So good on her for taking it out and going, you know, if you want to beat me, you got to run with me and then go past me. So great example of just some dominant front running like we saw also on some of the earlier races. So excellent work. And you can see now's the time where you can start to be moving up this field and kind of making up a few places, as maybe people have gone out too hard or people have misjudged it. But we can see Danica looking very determined coming through here along with Millie and Taylor. So great work, girls.
Kei te pākari.
Take the steeple barrier for the second time. Perfect hurdling form from Danica. Great from Millie. Millie actually is a steeplechase, I believe I want to say national champion in the junior girls steeplechase from way back in Christchurch. I remember her. And we have our first Aussie, Coco, coming through. So great to see in the tough New Zealand conditions. I think that's Lucy Mabin, and we've got some more athletes coming through here.
Salome Leinfeldner. Prominent
Sally out of City Impact.
Yeah.
Another Wellington
awesome.
Girl just gone
That
past.
is Maddie Worrell clearing that hurdle there. And here we have, this looks like Eleanor Pugh out of Bethlehem College. Gonna take this hurdle now, and, you know, nice hurdling form. You see you get some different form there. Hands down, full clearance, or like a little twirl, as we've got everyone kind of clearing it now. But the ground is very soft and very muddy, and I can tell that, you know, you're sinking a lot, even with light spikes and however long spike length you picked. So good on these girls.
Hard to trust your footing at this stage.
Yes. You want to watch the corners. You want to take the tangent, but then you don't also want to absolutely wipe out and come home looking like you've been for a mud run. So, but that's all part of it.
Oh. And very easy to slip there, but athletes pick themselves up and go again.
That's what it's all about. That's always cross country, and you can see a perfect drone shot of them heading around for the final time on the back of that 2K loop, and that is still Danica, Millie and Taylor out there just, you know, going absolutely full strength around this back part, because you know, it's not over till it's over. Like, Millie's there and Taylor's there, and if I had to judge it from now, Taylor does look like she's moving a little bit quicker than Millie, so I can see that gap just rapidly closing there. And so once you come off the edge of that final little bank, if these two can work together, then, you know, it's not over.
She's closed the gap.
She has, and it's all about now, like, how much you want it in your head. Like, everyone's hurting at this point in a race. So Taylor will also be the winner of the under-17s out of Christchurch Girls High School. So if she's looking now like she could be in that top 3 overall, but she's
got some momentum here too.
Yeah. And once you've got that big, long finishing straight and you got someone else in your sights, you know, that goes a long way in terms of this, like how bad do you want it. But one last, looks like one of our para girls coming through there.
From Wairarapa College.
693. We'll get the name on her. So well done. That was a fantastic run on a very tough conditions. But coming down this finishing straight here, we have Danica Clooney, and then we have Taylor Cox and Millie McFadden, which is awesome to see them giving their full effort. And they just took it and said, you know, this is our race. We're going to do our best. And that's Coco Fiddler out of Brisbane Athletics coming through there, number 58 for 4th. So technically, we have got our Wellington College under 17 athlete as the 4th Kiwi in this race. Just something to keep in mind as you see the Aussies coming, and that is Sally Leinfeldner out of City Impact Church also coming through. We've got another Australian, Georgie Berg out of Brisbane, so you got to remember those names as you kind of count places, and Maddie Wass too, and more under 17 athletes, which is so great to see in a field of this size.
Someone finishing.
Got another one of our para athletes, it looks like, coming through there. I think I was reading a read number, I'm not sure. But they're almost there. You can see that gap coming through, which will be Danica Clooney. So congratulations, Danica, for going one better and going second last year and first this year, which is a great honour. So well done. Taylor Cox and then Millie McFadden. So awesome work. And then we've got Coco. So 4th, but first Aussie and 4th overall. Just something to keep in mind counting places. But this looks to be, I would like to say it's Lucy Maben. If I'm going to pick, that is Lucy Maben out of Wellington, and Sally and another Aussie. And we have Maddie Wass out of Sacred Heart College. And this looks like, this familiar face and last name. That's Isabel Prescott out of Villa Maria. Older brother Daniel Prescott actually won here when it was in Palmerston North. So, another strong running family.
Very distinctive running style,
know the
Daniel.
Names. Yes, Daniel's known for those arms. And that's Maddie Worrell coming through there. We've got, looks like another Wellington College athlete.
And Anne here on the finish line.
And Miller Bolton,
a famous runner.
out of Burnside.
Abby Kemp went through as well.
And they're you're out on the floor in the mud, absolutely giving it their all, which is so great to see. And Imogen Barlow, we've got Eleanor Pugh coming across the line. We've got Amy Thompson. We've got a whole bunch coming over. But what's important is those colours of those singlets. And if you're in one of those big teams with big schools aspirations, you got to be kicking and you got to be finishing strong. So
Hannah Byam came through out of Whanganui Collegiate. They got a really good number in this year across.
Got a long history of running too. You got the names of that. Looks like Danica's bib hasn't been picked up on, because we're reading now with the results that Taylor Cox was our winner, but I do know for a fact that Danica was our first athlete across the line.
I'll be a witness.
Yes. So loads coming across now, which is great to see. But that would be Danica Clooney, and 4 seconds back Taylor Cox, and then another 8. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to do the times off the top of my head, but it would be Danica, Taylor, and Millie with your top 3.
Yeah, so just be aware if you are looking to the right there, Danica Clooney was home through first, but as Sasha said, perhaps the singlet didn't clip the finishing timer, but
we didn't get her number. But then rounding out that top 10 was Lucy Maben in 4th, Sally Leinfeldner in 5th, Georgie Berg out of Brisbane actually in 6th, Maddie Wass in 7th, Isabel Prescott in 8th, Maddie Worrell in 9th, and Joanne Huang out of Mount Roskill Grammar. A great run to come through from 10th, but you got to remember that for those automatic top 10 spots, looking for those New Zealand secondary schools like team representation, you got to count out the Aussies in this field. So 11th was Abby Kemp out of Wellington Girls, so another local, and then 12th was Miller Bolton out of Burnside High, so out of Canterbury. So those two will be moved up, if you like, in the placings, looking at that, I believe, as there's loads of girls coming across this finish line now and absolutely giving it their all, which is, great to see.
Superb performance running in these conditions and keeping their feet as best they could throughout, battling the wind as well. making the finish line after 4 kilometres, or 2 for the para athletes, and still able to produce a sprint over the concluding 20 or 50 metres.
Great to see. I'm like, gosh, that finish line is getting muddier and muddier, and then you consider it and you've got the senior boys, and this will be a strong race coming through with this upcoming senior boys race. But once you cross that line, it's all done, and great to see these girls giving it their all and coming through. And loads of our under 17 athletes doing well too.
Yes, very well. Like Taylor, to think that she can come back once, maybe twice more.
I believe Taylor's year 11, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so she's got like 2 more shots at this, which is great to see.
Extraordinary.
You know, don't let it stop you if you're looking and you feel a bit intimidated and you look left, you look right.
Keep going.
One of our under 17 athletes, come on, all the way across the finish line in this very slippery mud.
Yep,
so
really tricky, but well done getting through.
Excellent work, girls. This is where you'd borderline consider maybe 15 milk spikes, which might be a bit excessive, but hey, if you're slipping and sliding around and, you know, you are these senior boys and you're taking these corners, you gotta look at your footwear choice, look at your, like...
Maybe some high jump spikes.
I'll be wearing my footy boots, I think.
Oh, footy boots.
Cleats would go a long way in this, definitely. I know my old tactic around the corners was to just grab the, like, fencing, and I would grab that little like string that's running around the corners, and I'd just hope that it didn't like pull out the ground, because otherwise I was going to go sliding along with the little fence posts. But I'm not sure you can do that, so maybe I shan't say that I did that. Hypothetically. Great tactic.
You got to come up with a strategy though.
If it works, don't fix it. Ain't broke.
Hopefully you've spotted your loved one, your whānau, crossing the line here at the end of the senior girls 4 kilometres and para girls 2 kilometres. Denica Clooney, the winner from Otamatea High School, and Mangataroto in Northland, looks like a beautiful part of the country. And the second winner across the divisions today, who's finished second last year, but come through and taken the title this year.
It's fantastic to see, and it's always kind of, I know, hopefully not to speak for Denica, but to go second and then kind of wait a year and come back and go, nah, like this is my title to win this year, and then to pull it off is like the feeling of a race. Really well done. But every competitor in this field should finish going, hey, I gave my best effort, I'm really proud of my race, and that's really all that matters. And when you look back on it, sometimes you don't remember the placings, although I know I do a lot, but you go, hey, I remember I finished that race and I sat down in the mud and I spoke to my mom and I spoke to my dad and I went, that was a good race. I'm proud of what I did, and I'm proud that I went out there and gave it my best for my school and my team, not only myself.
And in the para junior, Olaith Geary from Solway College in Masterton, the winner. And second was Sarah Aldridge from Makata College, also in Masterton. And
in the para senior females, it was Amelia Troke, who is out of Wairarapa College, that came through to win that. So well done to those girls competing.
Sasha, the team results up yet?
Let me pull them up, because that is also a fantastic battle. And it looks like Brisbane Athletics will win the team's title, which is kind of cool to see that, you know, an Aussie team's come over to the tough conditions in New Zealand. They've done really well, but they were anchored by Coco getting 4th there, and another one of their girls in the top 10. I think that was Georgie. So once you put 2 in the top 10, that's kind of a strong start, but close, with the first New Zealand team being Wellington Girls College, and then, like we mentioned at the start, Diocesan School for Girls coming through for 3rd, and then the 3rd New Zealand team, but 4th overall was Otamotai College. So well done to those teams, and that is only the 3-person team's results, so the 6-person team results will be read out at the prize giving later today, once the athletes are warm and dry and not covered in mud and not wiping mud out their eyes and all that.
I have been waiting for this to update, but it still isn't.
Yes, we have. If you're looking at the live results only, and you're wondering where our winner is, Denica Clooney's number or Beb timer has not been picked up. But rest assured that we did have several eyes in the booth and lots of eyes out on the course, and it was Denica that crossed the finish line first, in front of Taylor Cox out of Christchurch Girls in second, and Millie McFadgen. Apologies, Millie, if I'm mispronouncing your last name, out of St. Peter's College in Gore in Southland. So great representation from the entire country there. We've got Northland, Canterbury and Southland all there taking 1, 2 and 3.
And Millie, the Southland Championship winner by that big margin as we spoke about earlier, and also won the South Island Championship. I think that was a fairly comfortable victory for Millie as well. Finished 9th last year, and this year is on the podium, we believe in 3rd place. But we want to wait for that to be officially updated. And in fact, it has been now, so that's encouraging.
Perfect.
So I'm always concerned in my line of work. Things can happen that you're not aware of, but that has now been updated. Denica Clooney now at the top of the rostrum, as she should be, ahead of Taylor Cox and Millie McFadzean.
And I mean, not that we saw any foul play on the cameras, but I wouldn't assume that Denica would be disqualified for anything of the sort. And despite the fact I'm not very old, I've never heard of someone being disqualified at a New Zealand Secondary Schools cross-country championship.
No, I've seen it on the track, though.
I've seen the track, though. You see some people and they're like, oh, let me just pass on the inside. And I'm like, we can't all be George Beamish and kick through on the inside, but... You know, cross-country's a bit rough and tumble.
During COVID time, there was a disqualification of an athlete in senior categories for spitting. So it has happened.
You got to abide by, the safe sport and the fair and
they
being
were
a
the
fair
rules at the
competitor
time,
rules.
so you have to abide by what the rules are. Yeah.
Indeed. But we are now 15 minutes away from our 6th and final race of the day, which is the Victoria University of Wellington, which I believe the Te Reo word is Te Herenga Waka Victoria University of Wellington Senior Boys 6 kilometres, which also includes that under 17 grade that is similarly noted in the senior girls. So the top 3 U17 boys will also receive medals as they are recognising their kind of achievement of being in that senior grade but a little younger. And so just back to our senior girls, Taylor will receive a silver medal for the senior grade, but also a gold medal for the U17. So, leaving with 2 medals is pretty impressive. So well done, Taylor.
It is indeed. Well, let's look at the senior boys, because I've got 9 pages of a start list here.
Gosh, this is our biggest race of the day.
If it's been hard so far, it gets even harder here. But no doubt, you've marked quite a few, as I have as well. Like we did with the senior women's too, so we might have a look through some of the perspectives. In fact, we're going to cross to Tony Rogers now to make a presentation.
To welcome one of our long-term New Zealand Secondary Schools athletic sponsors from Celtics, Gemma Hall, Manager of Retailing in Wellington office here. So Gemma, I'll let you say a few words.
It's an honour to be here today and present this Celtics Award. Celtics loves and the opportunities it creates for Kiwi kids. So it's a real honour to be here. Thank you.
And Gemma, I understand that Celtics actually gives travel awards out to some of the schools to help them get around to school sport. Do you know how that's going out around the country?
Yeah, the sponsorship's been awesome to see the retailers, the Celtics retailers across the country get involved and support these local schools. It's been a really awesome sponsorship. We're great to be a part of it.
Well, everyone, give a big hand to Celtics for their support of secondary school sport. And it's my pleasure now to let Gemma present to the person nominated for our Celtics Good Sport Award. That's Daryl Robinson here from the Trentham United Harrier Club. Daryl's been involved in the club for over 20 years, inspiring many young athletes. So Daryl, let you receive your prize there from Gemma. And well done to all your athletes, Daryl, that have nominated you for this award. I know you've been coaching here for a long time and putting out a lot of these top middle distance athletes from Trentham. You want to say a few words?
Yeah, I'd like to, on behalf of Trentham Harriers, just to thank you all for being here and welcome. Put the conditions on for you. We train in this, so this is great. But thank you, Tony, for your crew and Martin's job.
Thanks, Darren. Congratulations on being the Celtics Good Sport
Yeah,
winner for the 2026 New Zealand Secondary Schools Cross Country. And a special thanks also to Trentham United for hosting.
Tony Rogers there, the President Chairman of the New Zealand Secondary Schools Association, awarding the Celtics Good Sport Award to a real good sport. In fact, a mate of mine, Daryl Robinson out of Trentham Harriers, used to be a work colleague of mine. Daryl, I spoke to him at the Cook's Gardens night, where we saw Sam Tanner and Sam Ruth light up the crowd over the mile. Thank you to Celtics and the Good Sport Award. And Daryl's been a runner himself for a number of years, but a very keen volunteer and coach. And he's had some good runners in his guidance. Got a couple of really good ones at the moment. And Tom Strawbridge, who's been prominent over the past few years. So well done to you, Daryl. He's a pretty humble fella, Daryl. So thank you to Celtics for supplying this award. And that's just down in front of the club rooms here at Trentham Memorial Park, where we are for the 52nd edition of the New Zealand Secondary Schools Cross Country. We have one race to go, due to go at 10 to 2, and it's the senior boys over 6 kilometres 3 times around this now testing loop. Sasha Letica with me, along with Heidi Humphreys. Sasha, your thoughts on our final race?
This is going to be a good race, which sounds so silly to say, but the senior boys, I mean, I'm thinking back to all the senior boys races that I've ever watched in my time, and they've always been a great battle, and sometimes you get an unexpected winner, and sometimes it's like, man, this winner we could have predicted, and they went up there and they smashed it. So last year in Whangarei, it was the battle between Caleb Wagner and Sam Ruth, which Caleb ended up outstrengthening Sam, so good to see that, Caleb, the triathlete, still had on from the track guy Sam, but I think the course suited Caleb a little bit more last year. But previous years we've had winners such as Daniel Prescott, we've had Danny Sinclair, and we've had a bunch out of Westlake boys, Alfie Steedman, another name to call back to, and we've got some past pupils and past names that I recognise, some surnames such as, your Auckland schools champion was Ethan Mora, the younger brother of Jamie Mora, but a very accomplished brother in his own right, and Duke Cutts, younger brother of Quincy Cutts out of Westlake boys, and Westlake with some strong representation, Auckland with also Harry Witheridge, who went to the World Schools Cross Champs in Kenya too. I know Harry, he's a stand-up guy, and out of Waikato though, the favourite would have to be Corbin Holmes out of Bethlehem College, and coached by Craig Kirkwood. Craig coaching a number of athletes here and a great coach down in that Tauranga region. And then also in that Waikato schools race was Max and Jack Sterling. So Max was second and Jack was third, two great athletes from Hamilton boys. And then you got your local athlete who one could say is the favourite, Alex Macbeth, a very, very strong runner there out of Wellington College. But we've also got Cam Starr out of St. Patrick's Silverstream, and then Desmond Reddy out of Hutt Valley High School. No, apologies, Rongotai College, who was looking to come through and win there. And we've got our Canterbury guys. We've got, Leo DeMonchi, Elliot Removes, and Daniel Wadsworth. And then you got to look at the schools like Cashmere and Burnside High to the team's results too. But we've got a wide range of guys, and it really depends on what kind of race they make it, And if I had to call it now without watching and without kind of seeing how the start plays out, if it's a cagey start, I would reckon that Corbin and Alex go, we reckon we're stronger than the rest of the guys in this field, and we're going to make it a strength man's race and kind of see if they can do what Denica and Taylor and Millie did and just take it from the gun, and it's whoever holds on the longest. But I wouldn't discount the Auckland boys as a biased Auckland commentator myself, and forgive me if I've missed people from Northland and Southland, as I haven't scanned those results just yet. But again, you can have someone still come out of nowhere. Even in these senior grades, you get those performances where they've just been quietly building. Oh, that reminds me, a great name coached by Neville Britton, who coached last year's champ Sienna Mackley, is James Weber out of Queenstown. So look for James, and he has run very well at the New Zealand Track Champs and also ran well at the Schools Cross in Whangarei. So James could be in the hunt for that top 10, top 5, top 3 spots if you're having a great day. So it's all about kind of how you feel when the gun goes, which is easier said than done, but should be a fantastic boys race.
James was 5th last year and the South Island champion this year. It's a pretty deep field. We're just going to recap the senior girls result because Denica Clooney is at the top there, ahead of Taylor Cox and Millie McFadzean, as we have been mentioning, and an opportunity for you to have a look at the list scanning through, but when we threw this result up earlier, Danica Clooney's singlet hadn't been recognised, but she is the winner in the time of 14:58.
Fantastic to see. And those rest of that top 10, top 20 names coming through there, and I know personally I'm looking at them and I'm like, I know them and I know them, and it's a great race from her and it's a strong run from her, and it's like, you know, some of these girls may be a little disappointed, but hey, you know, that's cross country racing, and sometimes a disappointment is a good way to end it, because you go, now I've always got to be chasing and I always want a little bit more, and there's something left on the table and room for you to go, so that would be like something to look forward to.
Hunger for next year.
Yes. Or if you're over and this is your year 13 and it didn't go the way you wanted, you know, there's much more opportunities out there. And there's also a kind of chance for redemption, if you like, at the Athletics New Zealand Cross Country Championships, which are, I believe, start of August in Hagley Park down in Christchurch, in Ototahi, Christchurch, which will be an exciting watch too. Different type of course, but we're scanning through that top 20, 25 coming through there. So well done, girls. And loads of different schools represented, which is great to see.
Is there a last race set down for 10 minutes to 2?
So we are 6 minutes out from this senior boys race, and looking out from our little cabin, the sky looks to be clearing a little bit. I mean, the wind's picked up, but there is a little bit more sunshine out, a little less cloud cover, so it could be some pretty favourable conditions for these boys out here.
Bit of a moving feast though, Heidi.
Kei roto I te rema menete ka timatanga he whakataetai o nā tamatane Pakeke.
See the boys on that broadcast there. It's a very full start line. I know they split them into those start line pens marked out by the yellow barriers, but you know, once that gun goes, it's all about finding the shortest line and kind of tucking in behind your competitors and working to your strengths as an athlete, as opposed to running someone else's race, as you see boys doing their final stride outs here.
Nervous time for the young men.
Oh yes, there's nothing like standing on the start line and looking left and looking right and going, gosh, I raced them, and gosh, I know them, and they ran pretty quick 2 weeks ago and they're from a different part of the country. But one thing that my dad and then my current coach, Coach Sullivan at Yukon, was always reminding me is that it's all about how you feel and how you run your own race. And, you know, you can't control the way other people feel, so it's all about, hey, like, kind of looking inward and reflecting inward and knowing that you've done the training and you've done the work, and kind of really your fate lies in your hands in terms of how you execute a race. So it's important to, you know, be kind of amped up by your competitors, but at the same time not let it be the be all and end all of a competition, because at the end of the day running is an individual sport and only you know how much effort you're going to give, which is hopefully all of it. Some
didn't. They chose not to have that sort of final stretch out. Would you have been doing that? Or?
Yes. Yeah. Maybe it
is that a nervous thing though? That
yes. Yeah. Maybe it wouldn't do anything in terms of, you know, having your legs be ready, but in terms of just settling the mind and settling the brain, there's nothing like doing one last like stride out and kind of going, okay, my legs feel opened up, I'm ready to go. Especially with the boys' races, which do have a tendency to go out like a smoking bullet, and it's like, oh gosh, where am I? I'm 50th at 200 meters, but at the same time, you don't win after crossing the finish line first at 200 meters, you know.
Heidi, you remember that feeling just prior to competing?
Yes. Always nervous, giggles. I'm a chatty chat pants on the start line, so.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Annoying people,
I was silent.
Yeah, no, I'm the complete opposite.
I was told I had a RBF on the start line, and I was like, no, I'm just focused and
I don't
locked
believe
in.
you.
In the call rooms, and they call you up, I'd be like staring. And I was like, don't worry, I'm not actually mean, I'm just slightly nervous and terrified, but I can see.
I think it's different people react differently.
Yes.
And if you know, if your go-to nervous is to chatter and giggle and
you either go
jokes.
inward or you go outward,
yeah,
and it's whatever works. And some of these senior boys will have been doing this, you know, since year 9, they would have come up through these ranks and they would be pretty well settled in their routine and what works for them. And sometimes some things work better for others. Like, you know, a couple guys that the night before meal was like a Big Mac and fries from the McDonald's, and I'm like, whatever floats your boat, guys. And some of them were pretty pedantic about, oh no, I gotta have my pasta and I gotta have my rice and gotta have my mince and whatever works. But these boys would be used to their routine now, and that last stride out before you get on the line, do a bit of leg slapping, bit of arm waving, bit of hopping up and down, you know, all familiar sights on a cross-country start line, especially in the cold. As we are about a minute and a half away from our start, so...
Kua rite nā kai whakateite mō te wero nui kei mua e a rātou. So the competitors are ready for the big challenge ahead of them.
Yeah, and one thing that I learned that was a good reminder from my coach at Yukon. She was like, you know, the gun's going to go off, whether you yourself are ready or not. So once you stand on that start line and you're kind of in that position where you're ready to race, the gun will go, and it's what you make of it. So you can't back out now. You know, you got to make the most of an opportunity. So
shout out to our volunteers today too, and officials who do a tremendous job here and make this all possible.
Exactly. We're holed up nice in a little cabin with 4 walls and a roof, and they're out there kind of telling these people what to do in the mud and the wind and the rain. So well done, and making sure no one goes off course, which is important in the senior races when you start getting further laps. So these boys go around this course 3 times over a 2k lap, so that is 6 times through that little creek and 3 times over the hurdle. So some good obstacles as part of this last race on our calendar, the Victoria University of Wellington Te Herenga Waka Senior Boys 6k, and they're off. So that's a fast start, I can tell you that much. And you can see the classic, shall I lead by 100 meters? And you know what, good on him. I always like to see someone go out there and have a bit of fun. So
it would have been my only opportunity to get on camera, so I understand.
But imagine your photo.
Exactly.
I was winning.
And you know what? You were. And that's great to see. But, you know, then he pulled to the side and let the other boys roll through. But great to see.
I'll be impressed if he's still in the top, 100 at the end.
Yeah, and there's well over 100 competitors in this race. I mean, that makes me sound silly in terms of having no idea of the number of boys in this race. But we've got, what is it, like 5 or 6 pages of...
I've got 9.
9 pages. Okay, we've got 9 pages of boys in this final race, so...
Mine might be more spread out than yours, I don't know, but...
But this race is a little different in the sense that, you got 3 laps. Like, you can afford to play it safe, play a little bit cagey, hold back some of your energy until a little bit later. Like, once you've come around and you've got 4k to go and 3k to go, and you can kind of start working it into a track race and going, oh, I know how far 3k is. I know how far 2k is. 2k is 5 laps. That's not a long time. That's 5 laps of the track, 1 lap of this course. You can play to your strengths, but all these boys will know what best suits them and how best they and their coaches might suggest how to run it, or what they feel like they're going to do with who they're up against. So looks like a pretty controlled pace right now as they come through to cross that water for the second time, having got through that first one pretty easily.
Good crowd gathered. Does obscure our view at that particular vantage point, but great to have the support.
Love to see a brave man in a white jacket out on a muddy course out there. There's nothing like some formerly white clothing. A lot of these white singlets will be white no longer after the end of these boys running, especially after all the earlier races have churned it up.
Past the cricket nets, football fields here, rugby fields elsewhere. Huge morning of sport here at Trentham Memorial Park, not just our cross country.
And it looks like we have one of our U17 athletes actually leading out this field, and I'm trying to pick his bib number, but I can just see that red background as he kind of takes it in first there. And the guy in second, I recognize the technique, recognize the face, that will be Alex Macbeth out of Wellington College. And in that red singlet there is Corbin Holmes. So 3 of our early pre-race favourites out of Bethlehem College is Corbin, and I can see James Weber in the Queenstown. Forgive me for not pronouncing your actual school, but I can see James Weber in there, and I can see
so it's
Desmond
Max Sterling
Riddy
up front there.
Oh, nice, from Hamilton Boys, a strong competitor. We've got James, we've got Desmond Reddy coming through there in the yellow of Rongotai College. They've got a huge bunch of boys. I can see Sam Rickaby out of Kings through there. He's a very strong runner. He's be looking to move through the field. He's been on a fair few New Zealand schools trips in the black singlets, so very accomplished cross-country runner as these boys take the steeple and making it look very easy, as most of them are tall enough that they don't have to put their foot down or their hand down, so nice to see.
Did see in that previous race where things had got quite slippery around there though, so certainly cautious as they go through.
Spikes go a long way, but I'm seeing some brave souls and bare feet, so shout out to you guys, just doing it real old school cross country style, which is, you know, the mud ain't gonna bother me, the creek ain't gonna bother me, I'm just gonna go for a run.
They really take care of this facility, and so even though there's lots of activities that happen here every week, come the following week, it's all great again.
Yeah.
So
That's
they do a really good job.
Heidi, you'd be old enough to remember Zola Budd like me, the South African runner, the bare feet.
And that looks like, I can tell you now, with the red singlet of Bethlehem College out of Tauranga and Waikato Bay of Plenty, that is Corbin Holmes, who was one of the strong pre-race favourites, just going, hey, I reckon I'm going to make this a strongman's race. And that, like to say, that was my prediction beforehand, and that is Alex Macbeth also sitting in there, and James Weber, and was it Max Sterling that was sitting in fourth?
Yes, it was Max.
We're picking up the numbers. Apologies, I know
173 was Max
you must
Sterling.
hate being mixed up with your twin brother. I know I would if I was a twin, but excellent running there, working together as a pack of three. So, given the length of this race, we see some interesting tactics. Corbin's gone, hey, I'm going to make it my own race. I'm just going to front run out there solo. But if these three boys behind in second, third and fourth can work together, they might have a better shot of reeling in Corbin as opposed to letting him kind of run away solo. But very relaxed in the arms there and very smooth technique. Makes it look very easy over this ground, as all of these boys do. Very economic and efficient, which is, you know, what you like to see, especially when the conditions are this bad. You can get some, I know I had a good lot of arm flailing going on as I finished in my senior years, so great technique, boys. Good work, coaches, too.
Fourth last year, Corbin Holmes, number 697.
We've got,
going through there, there's James Weber that you recognised
can
earlier.
see Duke Cuts there out of Westlake Boys, and I can see Ethan Moore, number 30, also having a strong run, the Auckland champ. But you know, you might be looking at this field and going, gosh, like I recognise my mate or I recognise my, you know, family member, and they're a bit far back, but don't fret, they've got 2 more laps, which is another 4 times through the water, another 2 times through the steeple. So really anything can happen, and you know, it's not over till it's over. You can pull out that win in game 7, as I like to say, and kind of have a last kilometre close, which is always great to see someone absolutely steaming through the field. And you can pick up like 20 odd places if you're having a flying last kilometre. So always wise to measure your energy, but it looks like Corbin's just gone, nope, this is what I want, this is how I'm going to run it. And he's gone, if you want to beat me, you're going to have to kind of close that gap and work together. So
He neke wawe tēnā, so it's an early move. And kua tino whānui te marara o te ropu, so the field is very spread out.
it is very strung out. Corbin has put a pretty sizable gap on the other 3, but as I said, you know, it ain't over till it's over, so they're working together. It looks like whoever was in 5th, apologies for not picking up that bib earlier, but there is a now almost a little pack of 4. He's got to finish closing that gap there, but working together and kind of feeding off the energy of your competitors is a great way to go and a great way to kind of approach cross country. So working together often goes a long way, even if you are from different schools. And what is interesting to see is the different lines they're taking through this mud. You can see the tangent is well churned up and well muddy, but you've got some people going a little bit wider on these straights to avoid the mud. But do you toss up a little bit more mud and a little less distance, or a little less mud and a little more distance? So it's really up to you and the decisions you make. But Corbin is splashing through the water for the 3rd time and well cleared out of this 3, so he's really making the race his own.
very near to where we are situated here, going through that creek. Corbin, the Waikato cross-country champion. Well, I understand that course, I think, Sasha, was a bit hillier than this one.
Brutal course. I went and watched and I was like, yeah, this is one of those times I'm going to say out loud, I'm very glad I'm not racing that course. And they put them right up a farm hill and right down, and you hit the end of the downhill and you went straight into a creek. So Corbin's well versed with this sort of creek in, out, muddy conditions, but he made it look very easy down on the farm there. So he's kind of taken that confidence and kept on rolling, and he had a fantastic track season too, as I am pretty sure he won a New Zealand title, I would like to say, but set some pretty good solid PBs. I think he ran around that 8:20 mark for 3,000 meters, which is a very respectable time for a year 13, I believe, boy. So just really strong runner and really confident in his running and himself, and he'll be trained well by Craig Kirkwood down there in Tauranga. So great training group and great kind of mentorship happening there. So it's
when you're training with Sam Ruth, you've got a pretty good benchmark.
Yeah, when you're training with Sam Ruth, you know that, hey, you know, I'm pretty fit and I can make this race exactly the race I want it to be. So still looking very relaxed, very strong runner.
Kauri e whakata, so there's no slowing down.
Nope, and you know, is he wearing a watch? Yep, so we'll be getting those race splits and going, yep, I'm right on, perfect, nice hurdle. Did put his foot down, which is interesting, but hey, if it saves you a little bit of energy, then why not save that now? We've got Alex Macbeth, and we have an Auckland Grammar athlete that has moved up now as James Weber is dropped back a little, but that is number 32.
Isaac Stewart.
Nice to see the strong tradition of Ags boys running well, and I believe
Max
that is Max Sterling. It is
173.
Got Desmond Reddy coming through there in the yellow. I just recognise a familiar face there. A lot of competition. We've got some Tauranga boys, so Brad will be cheering on his boys as they come through, looking for those team results, which is a big one. We've got McLean's, those familiar stripes. A notable runner to come out of there was Christian Duval, who is now running at the University of Wisconsin, and McLean's has got a history of having some good runners too, including 800 meter man James Trathan. You've got a whole bunch of guys that come through all these schools, so it's great to see a strong tradition happening. St. Peter's had some slips over the hurdles, but I believe the young fellow was in bare feet, so, you know,
and
kudos.
Back up.
Kudos. Got some Westlake boys, I see, that white, well, no longer white singlet in these conditions, but loads coming through, and
good
all making
opportunity
this
for
hurdle
people to see the people that they're looking for as they take this hurdle, and of course on the right, the drone shot keeping us up to date with where the leader is and whether that lead is changing, but if anything, it just seems to be getting...
If anything, I think Corbin's stretching it away, not to call it as we're watching a different part of the field, but he seemed very much in control when we saw him, as we see all these boys giving their best effort. And it is a long race, so you don't want to go out too hard and you don't want to blow up. So these guys are pacing themselves very nicely and going, hey, I'm running within myself, I'm running for my team. A lot of these guys might be looking for those 6-person results, so kind of playing it careful and playing it smart, which you always like to see and always well commended for an athlete.
So 4 kilometres has been the longest race we've had so far today, but the senior boys are doing 6.
Got a great drone shot of that steeple there, and you can see not many boys, or not a single boy that I've seen thus far, is choosing to take that like cut around. As we said earlier in the other races, it was a solid 6 to 7 seconds, which now with these conditions could be pushed out to that, 10 seconds. And if you're losing 10 seconds in a 2K lap, that's a long time. You see Corbin coming through there out of Bethlehem College in Tauranga, looking very relaxed, very in control. He's got, is it one more lap to go? So well stretched out here and kind of, in his own head, in his own running, looking full of running. So well done, Corbin. And you can see that lone figure really moving through. And we've got Alex Macbeth, a local boy from Wellington College, in second. And that looks like Max Sterling from Hamilton Boys in third. And we've got our Auckland Grammar School athlete, number 32.
Isaac
Stewart. Holding strong. And we've got the rest of our top 10 coming through here. I feel like that's a light blue Wanganui Collegiate singlet. I'm not sure.
I saw a Rathkill.
Number gone.
Did I see a Rathkill go
Oh,
past.
and we're losing numbers at
Let's
this
see
rate.
657
Conditions are
going through
getting
here.
worse, and we've got some. I saw at least 3 or 4 Tauranga boys, so that's important for that team title. As you see, kind of those familiar singlets begin to come through, and all these boys are moving up. Like, this is the time where you want to go, okay, I've got a little bit left, I've got a little bit of juice in the tank, and I want to have a nice, good last 2K. That's Duke Cuts out of Westlake boys on the screen before it flicked.
Here's our second, third and fourth runners coming through, trying to chase down Corbin Holmes, who has a big lead.
Yes, and everyone in this field, as far as I'm aware, is a New Zealand... oh, nope, it looks like we do have some Brisbane Athletics. We've got 5 from the Brisbane Athletics representing Australia, but we're yet to pick those out of this squad, so it looks like our Kiwi boys are doing a good job at, beating the Aussies, which is a classic Trans-Tasman rivalry. And nice to see, especially since we head over and, the New Zealand team selection will be picked off the top 10 to top 12 boys in this race will go and put on that black singlet and race at the Australian All-Schools Champs, which is always a very prestigious opportunity to go over there and show the Aussies how you run real cross-country back down here in New Zealand.
Well, they can have some very changeable conditions there. I remember watching the World Cross Country at Bathurst.
Oh, Bathurst.
When they had that amazing storm.
Gosh, that lightning storm, I remember watching the broadcast and watching my mates race, and I remember reaching out and being like, how was that? And one of them responded, and he's like, I'm in a hospital bed on an IV drip. And I was like, good gosh. But hey, you gave 100% of your efforts, so well done. I think that was Jamie Moore. Shout out Jamie for going absolutely ham and giving it your best effort on that day. But your younger brother's doing that here now, not in the heat, but in the cold, but also behind Corbin Holmes, who was really just cruising through the stream for the last time. And nice tall, hands down a little bit there, but very tall athlete, so kind of makes it a little bit easier. You're not knee deep, you're about shin deep.
He makes it look easy.
Makes it look easier, and I'm sitting here at 5'3", and I'm like, gosh, I would just be waiting in that. So well done, Corbin, and we can see him out the window of our cabin, just very relaxed, good arm carriage, nice high turnover on a boggy course. So no looking back either. The race is always ahead of you.
It's Corbin Holmes towards the conclusion of our senior boys 6-kilometre event. Other medals still to be decided though.
But we've got, it looks like Max Sterling and Alex Macbeth. This is the big battle in this race, I would say, for second and third, those last 2 spots on the podium. And you always want that one place higher up, but Corbin's pretty well cemented himself as, this is my race and I'm going to be the champ. But
Max
Alex,
under 17 too, of course.
True, so Max will, if it's going the way it's going now, I see not a lot of red-backed bibs out here. I'm watching a lot of these older senior boys, so Max looks like he will be taking out that under 17 category and getting 2 medals at this championship, which could be a nice take home to Hamilton there as Corbin finishes that hurdle for the last time and has a little look around that corner and goes, actually, hold on, I'm holding very strong. So
probably thinking that now that he's over that hurdle, there shouldn't be anything else that can
you'd
kind of
hope
get in
not.
his way.
Now it's just uphill, downhill, a little bit of mud, swing around that corner, and it's like, oh, I can see the finish line and it's beautiful. So we
Could
can
only
see
be a
our
watchdog or spectator now that could stop him.
Oh gosh.
Have you had that?
Well, there was one big clip that went around the internet a couple of years back of the States, and it was a moose or deer taking out someone. It says we have Max Sterling and then Alex Macbeth gonna come over this hurdle for the third and final time, and we'll see who takes that hurdle better. Max looked very efficient over that. So we have number 70 there, which is, I believe, out of Kashmir High School, Leo DeMonchi. I think he was a Canterbury champ. So holding true to pre-race predictions and kind of the current form that they're in and doing very well there.
Good ground
yes,
to be in the picture.
Moving up well, and that's a different way of running the race. You can see James Weber and Ethan Moore coming through, McLean's boys. We've got, I believe that's St. Peter's as a singlet, that blue strip. We got Tauranga boys. So that looks like ACG Sunderland. I believe that is Kona Kelly, also in our U17 grade. So shout out Kona for being, part of the junior boys at the Auckland schools, and he won that, I believe, and now he's up in the big
twin
leagues.
brothers in there. He's got a twin as well, I believe.
I think Nico's older.
Oh, is he older?
So Kona's racing his older brother
gotcha.
in a big
Okay.
league, which is kind
That's
of
cool.
like, gosh, that's why this under 17 category is so great.
Yeah.
You recognise when they're a bit younger and working hard. So all these boys clearing the hurdle, and not a single boy, I don't think, that's gone out and taken that sort of time penalty, is what you could call it.
Yeah.
As you can
Over
see
the top.
some spectators happily spectating as opposed to being splashing through that stream there.
All the athletes have done a super job of getting through this. Any that have slipped have been back to their feet and
Exactly.
determined to complete the course.
I haven't seen any major wipeouts, which, you know, selfishly you're always hoping for someone to fall down the hill, but that's a bit mean to say. So all these boys are doing an excellent job, and, you know, you can tell based on the
We
picture
also
that
haven't
it's
seen
not
any
easy.
more sliding down the hill.
Nope, and it looks like Corbin's managed to stay pretty mud-free and pretty upright, which is very impressive as he's sort of almost cruising towards home as he's come down that final hill, and all you're seeing now is that finishing straight, and he has well made it his race, and he took it from the gun and has pretty much gone wire to wire, aside from that first 100 metres. To shout out to that young man who took it for the first 100 and was leading through there, but we can see it is Max Sterling that has managed to break away a little bit from Alex Macbeth, but
Still on this race.
it's not over till it's over. So Alex, known for a good kick on the track, so hopefully, or maybe, he can come through, and Max is going, hopefully, you know, I've made a move early enough to hold him off, but still a little bit of running to go for these boys here, and Corbin
Max.
will be
He
coming to the
mutinga
finish.
tere rawa tēnei. This is a really fast finish.
You can see just how windy and rainy it is as Corbin will screen through that finish line under 20 minutes for 6 kilometers, which is a very impressive time. And wipe clean the
Hopefully
screen,
we'll see Max
and
Sterling
hopefully
come
we'll
through
see
without
either Max or
Alex.
Alex come through for second and third.
Max was third in the juniors last year. This is a terrific run from him.
Wow.
Big step up for a
seniors.
year 11.
Yeah.
So, like, kudos, because it's a long distance to go from 4K to 6K, which is another solid third of the race that you're running again. So,
His twin
well
brother
done.
won the juniors last year, but certainly Max had a really good year this year.
and he will also win the under 17s as Alex Macbeth will come home for
well done.
third in that senior category. A local boy, so good to see some Wellington College representation. And I know that now we'll be refreshing those teams results as more and more boys begin to pour over the line, but they distance themselves pretty well as we see some of our others coming through. And this looks like Desmond Reddy
Desmond
out of
Reddy.
Rongotai, so another local boy. Got our grammar boy. We've got, looks like Kings, I believe. Tauranga boys.
Oh,
We've got
there's the St.
Ethan
Pat's
Moore
Silver String.
coming through. Come on, Ethan.
Terrific finishes.
Great sprint finishes, and you know, you're slipping and sliding, but it's over, and the boys can all be proud of how they've run and the effort that they've given on the day.
And we
Oh, I
try-
like the calf skins. That goes a long way in keeping the body warm.
Try to get you as clear a picture as we possibly can for these finishes so you can pick out who you're looking for.
Doing our best calling. I would want to call that as an Aussie, but I'm not sure. Can't really tell.
It is hard to decipher numbers.
It is.
Oh.
We're a bit blurry, but all these boys are coming across the start line now, and the finish line now, sorry, and we'll be getting those live results and updating you as we
And
can.
sheared strongly too. Another of our under 17 athletes just going through there. That was William Mulder out of St. Peter's College.
We've got a
Auckland.
great slide across the finish line. I like the hat actually. That's a
Yeah,
great
nice.
pull to keep the rain and wind out of your eyes. So clever.
It's been a tough 6 kilometres. And these boys have done ever so well.
Is it another Rongotai?
Think so. I recognise the familiar yellow singlet, and we've got more and more coming through, but can see the top 10 results coming through, and I'll see what these team results look like. But it looks like, as of right now, it is Tauranga Boys that wins the 3-person senior boys race, and then only by 7 points though over Auckland Grammar School and St. Peter's out of Auckland. We can see on the right side of our coverage, we have our top 3, which is Corbin Holmes out of Bethlehem College, Max Sterling out of Hamilton Boys High School, and Alex Macbeth out of Wellington College. So some bit of Waikato Bay of Plenty representation in
Yes.
1-2, and then local guy, Alex, who's a real stand-up fellow. So really proud that Alex is third. And I spoke to him yesterday. He was looking forward to a great race. So well done. And the rest of that top 10 and whatnot rolling in through there. So
Desmond
great
Reddy was
performances.
fourth there out of Rongotai. Out of Burnside High in Christchurch, Elliot Ramus home in fifth. Isaac Stewart in sixth out of Auckland Grammar. Leo DeMonchi, Canterbury champ out of Kashmir High in seventh. Ronan Dickens from Tauranga Boys in eighth. Finn Robinson from St Patrick's College Silverstream, just down the road, home in ninth. And Daniel Wordsworth from Papanui High School, running out the top 10 just ahead of Ethan Mora and Jack Sterling, the winner of the juniors last year and twin brother of Max, home in 12th spot.
And yes, there is the teams like we read out earlier, and also the 6-person teams will be read out at the prize giving, which is today at 4 p.m. I believe. They will be presented at St Patrick's College Silverstream, and that's for these team medals and the announcement of the New Zealand team. So, go home, have a shower, have something to eat, chat to your family if they're here, chat to your family on the phone, talk to your mates, and come back and you'll get some team medals and team results, and also the individual kind of recognition of the ones that did really well. But at the same time, it's all about, going out there and giving it your best shot. And you can see these boys crossing the finish line are doing it tough and braving these conditions. So well done to everybody who started and finished this race.
And nā mihi, nui ki nā kai tuao, nā kaiako me nā whānau, kua tautoko I tēnei kaupapa. Tēnā koutou katoa nā kai whakateitei, ka mau te wehi. So congratulations to all the competitors, outstanding effort.
You can see some more of our U17 athletes coming through there. So some of these guys have got like 2 more years at this race. And, a lot can happen in 2 years. You can go from 150th and you can put in 2 solid years of training, 2 solid years of work, and you can come through and you can absolutely smoke the field. So, don't give up. You can see one of our Brisbane Athletics, one of our Aussies there, which is great to see on screen and feeling a bit of those New Zealand conditions. As we can see Corbin Holmes, our winner on the left side of our coverage, looking pretty relaxed for a guy that just smoked an absolute blinder of a 6K race. He's upright, looks pretty mud-free, and looks pretty chill. So, must be nice. Good job, Corbin. Got some no longer white singlets and white socks happening here, which is always fun to see and fun to clean. I remember one year we literally just put the spikes outside and hit them with the hose from a distance. And it was like mud and grass flying off from everywhere, and they were a write-off, but at least we tried.
Indeed. Congratulations to all competitors who have made their way to Trentham Memorial Park today. And we have more coming in now after 6 kilometres of art graft.
Nice celebration there from number 448. Love to see that. Got some McLean's boy from Auckland, come all the way down. The weather in Auckland's apparently a bit nicer than it is here, so, doing it tough, mate, and good job.
Hopefully improve weather for tomorrow for the regional relays and for the people wanting to back up
yes,
tomorrow.
And with that relays, it's a little different. They actually, if I'm informed correctly, they do 2 by a 1K loop. So that 1K loop that was done by the junior girls, they do 2 lots of that. So a much more spectator-friendly course. And they do go through the water 4 times, which is, adds a little bit of excitement along with holding a baton. So the big thing will be, hey, don't drop that baton in the stream, because if it goes downstream, I'm not sure it's coming back, and I'm not sure what your team's going to think. So just something to keep in mind as you plan your relay team for tonight. But always great to see some fun, friendly competition between the regions. And I know, there's a lot on the line. People like to take these relays fun, but also very seriously. And, I've had some appalling relays in my time, but you also get people that drop an absolute blinder over 2K and who are quicker over 2K than they are over a race like 4K or 6K. So there can be some sleeper picks in these regional teams.
And decent gust of wind greeting those that are completing the 6 kilometre
Oh no, someone's
course.
lost their rubbish.
Coming in here, we have a Molenberg bread bag. Nice.
Coming in what place?
Free
Not
advertising.
Not sure, but good phrase. I believe this is Wanganui Collegiate's uniform, if I'm not mistaken, with the black strip on it.
Aye.
Like
they've
I
been
recognise
well
that from
represented.
Daniel Sinclair. Was a throwback name from years past. He ran extremely well in Palmerston North and ran well for a year over in the States, and strong running family too. So, doing it tough in a cast.
Oh, well
That's
done.
very commendable.
Impressive.
Doing it with looks like a broken wrist there. So, well done.
Opportunity to take a moment to acknowledge and thank our sponsors and supporters. Big thank you, of course, to Whakaata Māori for providing the platform to share this event with whānau across Aotearoa today, helping us showcase our rangatahi and bringing the action to audiences free of charge and accessible no matter where you are in Aotearoa. We'd also like to acknowledge and thank Te Tara Whiri Te Reo Māori for their ongoing support and development with Te Reo Māori and strengthening its presence in events like this one. A huge thank you as well to our sponsors, Bailey's Real Estate, Caltex, Nativa, Apollo Projects, Anchor. Your sponsorship enables us to share this event with you and your whānau, and for backing the growth of sport and community initiatives across our great country, Aotearoa. And thank you too to Sasha Letica, who's been beside me, and of course to Heidi Jane Humphreys.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Heidi, for letting me be a part of the broadcast team. And I know I had a great fun time spectating and commentating and kind of seeing all these athletes out there doing their best. So that was awesome.
Hi.
So, sorry, Heidi, you go.
I was going to say, ngā mihi,
Excuse not to go out running, but I suspect, Sasha, you will be.
There are 7 miles on the plan tonight, so I've got to work out when and
Okay,
where to
girl.
do it. But at
Off
least
you go.
the weather's cleared, so
Was there any particular highlight for you today?
Oh, I really liked the way that both the senior athletes approached their race, and they went, hey, I'm confident in myself and I'm confident in my training, and you can really see and use those seniors as a role model to go. And I think that definitely those year 9 and those junior races could be looking to them as like big examples of what can I do and what can I learn, and kind of seeing them as a role model. So shout out to those two, and I know that those performances will go a long way in terms of looking towards their future. So well done.
Well, thank you, Sasha. It's been an absolute pleasure.
o te wā mātou mahi I tēnei rā. Ko te pai, te whiti, whaia kia tata, ko te pai tata, whakamaua kia tina, ki nā kai whakahaere, me nā kai whakataitai. Kia haumaru tā koutou hokinga ki o koutou kainga. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
You, and on a moonlit night, I've never seen stars this bright. No, I can't help it. I've been catching feelings over you. I hope you catch them too. I hope you catch them too. I've been going crazy. I've been going crazy. I hope you're crazy too. I hope you're crazy too. Crazy too. Got me running wild in fantasy, like you won't believe. I caught a glimpse of what I failed to see, and that's all I need. I don't wanna let more time slide. I traded 1,000 nights for just one with you.
This is an opportunity that we can't pass up.